Darrell Hamby and the Weaver Bearcats as they arrive at JSU Stadium at Jacksonville State University for day number 2 of the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. We're live at Jacksonville State University, and our first game for today will feature Walter Welborn and the Weaver Bearcats. And we have a big weekend for you here. I'm Carl Brady, and Gerhard Mathangani joining me here in the booth today. And it's already been a big weekend, kind of a round-robin 3-game thing last night featuring Pleasant Valley, White Plains, and Ohatchee. Gave us all a taste of some spring football, and we're back tonight for 2 full games, Welborn and Weaver, Sax, and Alexandria.
Yeah, it should be 2 huge ones. And the really interesting storyline heading into this first game with Welborn and Weaver is that Welborn was in 2A last year. They're going up to 3A this year. They will be in the same region as Weaver. So both these teams will be in the same region, meaning that both these teams will be playing for the same playoff spots next year. So it's one of those games where you have an intriguing matchup where they actually want to win this game because there's a lot that goes forward as you head into the season and as you head into the summer as well.
That's right. Welborn playing in 2A up to this point. Moving up into 3A, they're both going to be in Region 6. So a preview of what we're going to see this fall here today in our spring football tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And then our next game, Sax and Alexandria, it's one of those big rivalry games. You have Coach Jonathan Miller, who's the Sax head coach, Alexandria graduate, very familiar with that program. Alexandria lost that game last year, 34-0. They have a revamped style of offense. They have a quarterback as well, so it should be a great 2 games of football here at JSU Stadium.
And we're going to get it started in just a minute. So hang out with us here at JSU Stadium for the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. We'll get started in just a moment.
We're making a new Honda at Sunny King Honda more affordable than ever with low lease payments all month long. Lease the new 14 Accord LX for only $199 a month. Lease the all-new 14 Civic LX for only $159 a month. Lease the CR-V LX 2-wheel drive for only $209 a month. We have a great selection of certified used Honda, all with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Sunny King Honda, exit 188 off Interstate 20, where customer satisfaction is king.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Tim Hodges, Don Hudson, J.D. Hess, and Rudy Abbott, asks that you take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At RMC, we know the birth of a baby can be a great moment in your life. With 2 hospitals in Northeast Alabama, RMC has great care right in your backyard. Our OB suites have the amenities that you deserve, and we have a level 2 special care nursery staffed 24/7. Our experienced OB physicians work hand in hand with our specially trained nurses. We have the only baby-friendly designated hospital in Alabama. It's not about the size of the nursery, it's about the quality of the care.
About this time last year, our air conditioner just flat died.
It was completely worn out.
So we called Kelly with Cleghorn HVAC. He showed us our options, and we chose all new high-efficiency Ruud heating and cooling systems.
Now they're comfortable and saving money.
And we're sure glad we called.
Call us today and get up to a $1,200 rebate and a 10-year worry-free warranty with a new Ruud system for your home. We're Cleghorn HVAC Services, an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer.
Back live at JSU Stadium, Jacksonville State University for the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. The Weaver Bearcats are wearing white today. The Welborn Panthers are in black jerseys, white pants. And we will have the game kicking off here in just a moment. Both bands are with us. The cheerleaders are with us. And a few fans joining us as well here at JSU Stadium. Now remember, we're broadcasting this game live on TV 24. And if you happen to walk away from the TV, have to leave, and you can't find us, you can't watch on TV, go to our website, tv24.tv, where you'll find live streaming of the entire night there at tv24.tv. There's a link on the right-hand side for the Spring Jam. Click on that link, and that will take you to the live streaming, so you can watch on your computer, your mobile device, on your mobile phone, anything like that, and keep up with us, even if you're not sitting in front of your TV, Gerhard.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's a good feature, and it's a good platform for us to bring high school football coverage to you all. And like you brought it up yesterday, you had it on your tablet, and it's a great way to catch some of your favorite teams in action, even if you're just curious to see how the Wellborn Panthers and the Weaver Bearcats look in 2014.
Dakota Gravitt with the kickoff for Wellborn, and you see a little bit of a return here, but well, it looks like they're keeping the returns live today so far. Normally in our spring game format here at the Spring Jam, our kickoff and punt returns are not live returns because you don't want to take a chance on getting anybody injured. So the kicking game is not 100% live. We'll have kickoffs, we'll have field goals, we'll have punts, but there will be no rushing, none of that kind of stuff. And you'll see that as we go through the game today.
Absolutely, and just to ward off injuries, and we will take a first look at the Weaver offense and the Panther defense.
Paul Hubbard, the quarterback, with a handoff. They'll gain out to the 41-yard line. That's D'Lo Forbes. Let's look at the offense for Weaver. Offensive line, you have Elston, Wolf, Campbell, Gonzalez, and more. The food outlet offensive starters there. Wide receivers are $100 and Cameron Lynch. Tight end is Moore. And quarterback Paul Hubbard, D'Lo Forbes at running back, and Tyreek Hall at fullback as we come up second down and about 3 yards to go for the Bearcats. Clock running again. Weaver's offense spread out all over the place. Quick pass out to the right side. It's going to be Sean McKinney. And he'll pick up a first down near midfield.
It's a good-looking play there by Weaver. We'll bring it to you all night how that the Weaver Bearcats are breaking in a new quarterback, Paul Hubbard.
Wellborn defensive starters on the line. Tigner, Elston, Lewis, Beatles, and Morrow. Linebackers, Thrasher, Landon McChristie. You'll also see him at quarterback, DJ Roden. And defensive backs, Montgomery, Weatherly, and Walker as we come back to action on the field. At the 47-yard line, it's first down for Weaver. Paul Hubbard this time with the toss. Slides down just as he crosses the line of scrimmage. And this again going to be D'Lo Forbes on the carry.
He lost his balance there, but a nice tackle by DJ Roden. He is the brother of Delricus Roden, was a star running back for this Wellborn Panthers squad just a few years ago. You know, Jeff Smith is really excited to see him. He's a junior heading into this team. He'll also be used as a running back along with Kevin Mixon, number 28, when the Wellborn offense is on the field.
Second down, 10 yards to go for Weaver. Receiver goes into motion. This time Hubbard's going to keep it for himself, fakes the handoff, takes it right up the middle to the 46-yard line.
Almost looks like a busted play there by Weaver, but good job there by Paul Hubbard in order to get that ball and get up the middle, get some yardage. Able to make this a manageable third down. It's about 3rd and 3.5, 3rd and 4, as opposed to a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. So we'll see how this Wellborn defense responds here in this critical part of the field.
Just underway with the Calhoun County Spring Jam Pigskin Roundup. Hubbard under center this time. The toss goes to Forbes, and he's going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage and taken down right at midfield at the 50-yard line. It'll be a loss of about 4 yards on the play to bring up fourth down.
Great job on defense there by Landon McChristie, number 12. You mentioned it during the starting lineups. He will play quarterback as well, but he is one of the toughest players on this ball club. He reminds me a lot of Tim Tebow, just his toughness as a football player. He's able to run the ball. He plays that middle linebacker spot, and he was able to get that to the ball carrier just enough time. A big 3rd and about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, Weaver actually loses yards, and they'll force the Weaver Bearcats to punt.
Looks like it's going to be Paul Hubbard punting as well for the Bearcats. And he's going to fake the punt and take the ball down to the 25-yard line. Apparently, these coaches have agreed to play a full-fledged football game and not spring game rules today.
You're absolutely right. It must be a situation where Coach Daryl Hamby and Coach Jeff Smith got together and said maybe live special teams through the first half, maybe live special teams all game. We're not sure. We'll try to get word down from the sideline what was said, because heading into these spring games, you called it earlier, you don't do live special teams, mainly because the stats show that's where most players get injured the most, I should say. But it looks like after that last kickoff and this fake punt, it looks like they are going full steam ahead with the special teams, but of course we'll get official word. As soon as we get it, we'll bring it to you.
First at the 25-yard line. Quick toss out to Forbes. He is going to get nearly back to the line of scrimmage, nothing else. It'll bring up second down, still 10. Just a little more than 10 and a half now to go for the Bearcats.
Looks like right now this Weaver offense is rolling a little bit. The Wellborn defense has shown spurts of playing well. Big third down stop to bring up fourth down. But Weaver does convert, and they are attacking once more. Second and long here.
Shotgun formation for Hubbard. Man in motion. Handoff goes to McKinney. McKinney makes it to the 24-yard line to bring up third down.
Good job of a backside tackle there by Corey Tigner. And there's a lot of universities looking after him as a college football prospect. He is a senior for this ball club, one of 9 seniors that start on the offensive and defensive side of the football.
Another handoff for the Bearcats. Looks like Forbes on the carry again. D'Lo Forbes.
Another tackle there by Landon McChristy. You'll hear his name basically throughout the game, and if you're a Wellborn fan, you'll hear his name throughout the season. He is one of these guys that has just played so hard for Coach Jeff Smith. He's actually started since his freshman season. He and Kevin Mixon both. Kevin Mixon wears number 28, plays in the secondary, also plays running back. As a good look at head coach Jeff Smith. Brings back a very, very talented team this year.
4th and 9 for the Bearcats. They're going for it. Hubbard rolling to the near side. Toss goes to McKinney. McKinney's going to get back to the 25-yard line and nothing else. They'll actually lose a yard. So we'll turn the ball over on downs, and we'll see the Wellborn Panthers come out on offense for the first time here at the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam.
Yeah, you can call him kind of the Spring Jam Riverboat Gambler. That's 2 fourth down in a row. He wanted to go for it on fourth down. Coach Daryl Hamby does a fantastic job with this group. He's also the head basketball coach, has had a lot of success on the hardwood. But Coach Daryl Hamby in his I think his 10th season, actually his 5th season as the Bearcats head football coach. He's taken 3 teams to the playoffs. As I mentioned, both the football and the basketball coach. You see his career record there, and that'll only grow in 2014.
Landon McChristy under center for Wellborn. And he gives it out to DJ Roden, who is going to make it out to, it's like maybe the 44-yard line to pick up the first down.
One of the things that Jeff Smith likes to do, he likes to have that 2 running back punch. You see this a lot in the NFL. You see also a lot in college football. Remember with Alabama with guys like Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson like to have that 2 running back punch. That's exactly what Jeff Smith likes to do. So you'll see a lot of DJ Roden and Kevin Mixon, as like last year you saw a lot of Shots Goodman and Kevin Mixon.
McChristy with a handoff. As Kevin Mixon on the carry. He's going to get across midfield to the 49-yard line. Looking at the offensive starters, sponsored by Food Outlet. The offensive line, you have Farmer, Cup, Beatles, Gravett, and Woodjet. And the skill positions, running back, Jordan Montgomery. You got Spencer Cruz as a wide receiver. Roden, Mixon, and McChristy there in the backfield.
We saw some of this formation yesterday with Ohatchee as well.
Hand off to Mixon. to the 41-yard line. Picks up another first down for the Panthers.
Good job there by D'Lo Forbes for Weaver. Saved a touchdown on that play. Whenever you run those tight formations, those really tight blocking schemes, it really comes down to one-on-one blocking. And if you can get a lot of good one-on-one blocking, you've been able to spring somebody free. D'Lo Forbes actually saved a touchdown there for the Weaver Bearcats.
Christie hands off to DJ Roden. Another long run down to the 21-yard line. Another first down for the Panthers.
That play was made by two people, Jordan Montgomery and Kendarius Weatherly, number 6 and number 2, down the field blocking on the outside. Great blocks one-on-one, able to spring them free, able to pick up that first down. This Welborn offense is rolling right now.
First down at the 21-yard line for Welborn. 3 backs in the backfield. McChristy with the handoff to Mixon. Mixon gains 6 yards to the 15-yard line. Taking a look at the Weaver defense, sponsored by Food Outlet. You know, the defensive line there, Monroe, Hall, Sanders, Elston, and Usry. The linebackers, Hubbard, Lynch, and Dollar. And other defensive backs, McKinney, Forbes, and Thompson. Starting lineups brought to you by Food Outlet. McChristy again with the handoff to Mixon, and Mixon is going to be hit immediately behind the line of scrimmage and lose back to the 20-yard line.
Good job there by Dion Moore, because this offensive attack for Welborn has just been punishing. As you take a look here in the America's First Federal Credit Union, is absolutely nowhere to go. Great job of filling in the gap. I'm not sure if he was on a blitz assignment, but he filled in the gap perfectly. Dion Monroe, a nice play there for the Weaver Bearcats. Looks like the captain of that Bearcat football team as well, as he gives in the play before this third down, which a timeout will be called right beforehand.
Timeout being taken on the field by Welborn. We'll take the timeout with them and be back in a moment with the Calhoun County Spring Jam.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Tim Hodges, Don Hudson, J.D. Hess, and Rudy Abbott, asks that you take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
We're making a new Honda at Sunny King Honda more affordable than ever with low lease payments all month long. Lease a new 14 Accord LX for only $199 a month. Lease the all-new 14 Civic LX for only $159 a month. Lease the CR-V LX two-wheel drive for only $209 a month. We have a great selection of certified used Hondas, all with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Sunny King Honda, exit 188 off Interstate 20, where customer satisfaction is king.
The Welborn-Weaver game here at the Spring Jam is being brought to you by Sunny King Toyota, the Calhoun County Commission, Alabama Power, and Jackson Mortgage Company. As we return to action, Jeff Smith, there you see him, the coach of the Welborn Panthers, has made the playoffs all 5 years at Welborn, played himself at Welborn and at JSU. McChristy under center. This time he's rolling to the near side. Quick toss to DJ Roden. And Roden's going to take it to inside the 15-yard line. Looks like maybe the 13 is where they're going to mark him down. Not quite enough for a first down, so it'll bring up 4 and about 2 yards to go for the Panthers.
We've had Coach Dale Hamby have a couple of fourth down decisions to make, and now head coach Jeff Smith with his first fourth down decision to make. Looks like they will go for it and opt not to kick the field goal. We'll see if this play works out for them.
4th and 2, McChristy under center. Roden and Mixon, and they will snap it straight to Mixon, and it's going to be close. He's going to drag several Weaver guys with him into about the 10-yard line. And this one is going to be close, and they do give him the first down.
Good job there. Extra effort there by Kevin Mixon. He rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, and now he had to split carries with Chance Goodman, and Goodman actually recently signed a college scholarship to play his football at Campbellsville University in Kentucky.
Just outside the 10-yard line, so it will be 1st and 10, not 1st and goal. Mixon gets the call again. They'll go into the 7-yard line, pick up about 3 yards. Let's go down to the field, check in with John Holder. John, what you got for us?
All right, guys, there's been a lot of changes in the rules from game to game. Last night, there was no live kicking in any of the 3 games. We've got live kicking in this game. Basically goes back to the coaches meeting that they had in December back at Alexandria High School. Welborn and Weaver, they decide we want to have live kicking. And folks at Sachs, Alexandria, some of those schools said, hey, no, we don't want to have live kicking. So pretty much autonomy there in deciding some of the smaller rules like kicking. So that's why we have live kicking in this game, guys.
Thank you very much, John. John Holder working the sidelines for us tonight. We'll be visiting with him off and on throughout the game, as well as you see an errant pass there for Welborn, and that will bring up 3rd down, and still about 7 yards to go. They've got to get to about the 6-inch line to pick up the 1st down.
Both the Weaver defense and the Welborn offense have been on the field for a long time now. This has been a very long drive, so this is a very crucial play to both squads.
Again, Roden and Mixon in the backfield. Toss into the end zone, a touchdown for Welborn. That's Corey Tigner, the tight end, who found himself wide open in the end zone. And a nice little easy toss by McChristy picks up the 6.
Great play call there by head coach Jeff Smith, and a good execution by the team, and especially Landon McChristy and Corey Tigner. It looks like just a bootleg play off to the one side. You play action to the one side, you come back on the other side with just that one player. That player was Tigner, and Tigner was able to sneak his way to the outside and, most importantly, catch the football in the red zone.
Dakota Gravett on to kick the point after for the Panthers. And it is good. So with just about 2.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter of action, Welborn takes the lead 7-0. We'll be back in a moment with more from the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam.
About this time last year, our air conditioner just flat died.
It was completely worn out.
So we called Kelly with Cleghorn HVAC. He showed us our options, and we chose all new high-efficiency Ruud heating and cooling systems.
Now they're comfortable and saving money.
And we're sure glad we called.
Call us today and get up to a $1,200 rebate and a 10-year worry-free warranty with a new Ruud system for your home. We're Cleghorn HVAC Services, an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer.
At RMC, we love serving people in the small towns of Northeast Alabama. The lifestyle, the food, the people. But make no mistake, there's nothing small about the care we provide. In fact, we're a member of the UAB Cancer Network and have the Blue Distinction Award for cardiac care and are rated in the top 5% in the country by the Commission on Cancer.
It's not about the size of the town.
It's not about the size of the town.
It's not about the size of the town.
It's about the strength of our regional health system.
The Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam live at Jacksonville State University. And there you see, don't know why, but there's a referee wearing a GoPro camera on his hat tonight. Maybe getting a referee's point of view for someone there.
Yeah, everybody wants to capture the action here of the Spring Jam. We'll see if we can get John on that. See why he's wearing that GoPro. Maybe just one of those training things, a training video to see what he sees.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the end of the sideline for upcoming and future referees.
Gravett with the kickoff. It's going to be a short one taken by the up net, number 15, Chi-Chi Brown. And he's going to be taken down at the 34-yard line, 35-yard line is where they're going to mark him. And that's one of those reasons the kicking game is usually not live in the spring.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, this is a good test of what it means to have true grit and toughness there. That is the quarterback, ladies and gentlemen.
Landon McChristy laid that lick on him there.
He is the quarterback and the heart and soul of this football team, and pretty much has been for a while. This Welborn Panther squad has been blessed with a lot of leaders over the years, but this might be one of the most influential right here, number 12.
First down for the Bearcats. Hand off immediately to D'Lo Forbes. He's got running room around the outside. He'll take it to the 43-yard line. Be just shy of the first down. It'll be second down at about 2 yards to go when we come back.
One of the things about this Weaver offense that they like to do is get balls to the outside, play a lot of football outside the hash marks. You see Wellborn, they like to play the ball inside the hash marks. A lot of their offense was built really running tackle to tackle. Weaver likes to spread it out, get you one-on-one on the outside. So really a contrast of styles between both these offenses.
Again, the handoff to Forbes. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, but not much further than that to bring up third down. Paul Hubbard, a new position at quarterback. The Weaver quarterback had been Timothy Hawkins for the last 4 years, starting for 4 years. So Paul Hubbard, a new name, not necessarily a new name for all the Weaver fans, but new to this position, his first season as the starting quarterback.
Coach Darrell Hammond is really, really excited about this young man. He is our ERA King player to watch. He's a sophomore quarterback. He's been playing varsity basketball since the 8th grade, so a lot of athleticism.
And you see him keep it for himself, and he'll get to the 47-yard line to pick up the first down for the Bearcats.
And Hubbard reminds me a lot of the old Chris English that they had there. He graduated last year. He's going to play basketball for Coach Todd Ginn, the Alexandria native over at Gadsden State. But he has a lot of athleticism, plays basketball really well, and transfers a lot of his basketball talent to the football field in the matter of the way he uses his hips, uses his head, has field vision. So we'll see a lot of number 5 over the next few years here for the Weaver Bearcats.
First down for Weaver. Man goes in motion. Hubbard moving to the near side, decides to pull it in and keep it for himself, crosses midfield, and he'll make it to the 48-yard line.
Just a design run there. There was no real threat to throw the football. You just want to keep the defensive backs honest, so he had the ball in throwing motion, but all intention was to run there. Now it brings up second and medium.
Second down for the Bearcats. Again, they spread the field out. Hubbard with a handoff to Forbes. Forbes into the 46-yard line. Interesting the way the Weaver is spreading the field out. Lots of wide receivers spread out all over the place, but yet to do much throwing of the ball. They keep everybody spread out and then keep it on the ground.
Yeah, a lot of times, especially when you're breaking in a new quarterback, you want to keep your play calls rather conservative, and that looks like that's what they're doing here with Paul Hubbard.
Taking the timeout on the field. Well, it's the end of the quarter. We'll take it as well. Be back in a moment. JSU Stadium at Jacksonville State University.
When it comes to the financing of your home, experience counts. At Jackson Mortgage Company, put that experience to work for you. There's a reason homeowners across East Alabama have chosen Jackson Mortgage Company since 1994. Jackson Mortgage Company is a full-service mortgage company offering VA, FHA, and conventional financing with competitive rates. Let Jackson Mortgage Company put their experience to work for you. And you remember, if you need a home loan, call my daddy.
Downey Drug, serving Calhoun County for 4 decades. Recently voted the best pharmacy in Calhoun County. We emphasize personal service, answering your questions, filling your prescriptions in minutes, not hours. Being locally owned and operated, your money stays in your community. Our prices have been compared to all area pharmacies, and once again, we win. Isn't it time you experience the best pharmacy in Calhoun County? Downey Drug, Wellborn Plaza, Alexandria.
The Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam back live on TV 24. John Holder is joining us from the sidelines. John?
Hey, Carl and Gerhard, yesterday the weather almost exactly like it is today with one exception, and it's noticeable. Today we've had that gusty wind, 10, 20, 25 miles per hour at times, and that's supposed to die down, but not until after sunset tonight. So with the live kicking, that could play a factor in the kicking game as we move through these next 3 quarters. Back up to you guys.
Thank you very much, John. And indeed, 3 more quarters to play. Today's format, 2 complete games. The complete game here between Wellborn and Weaver. Our first game of the evening. Then later on, Sachs and Alexandria with a complete 4-quarter spring game as well. Weaver back on offense. The toss And a fumble on the play. It looks like it is going to be recovered by Weaver's number 57, Elliott Moore. Great presence of mind there to see the ball bouncing around and get on top of it.
Yeah, it's an offensive lineman with good just forethought to get that football. Nice strip there. Once again, it's number 12. Landon McChristy forces the strip. But good job there by Elliott Moore, able to get that football back. And looks like we have a timeout by Weaver.
Timeout taken by Weaver. We'll take it. Be back in a moment from the Calhoun County Spring Jam.
The physical therapists and athletic trainers at Dr. Clinton Ray Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy are dedicated to bringing the patients of Northeast Alabama the most advanced therapy treatments available to return you to your active lifestyle. Dr. Clinton Ray and Dr. Jeffrey Lawler are both committed to providing excellent surgical care of your orthopedic needs. The doctors and therapy staff have the desire and experience to treat you like a world-class athlete, but with a personal touch.
Ever have to unfriend someone on Facebook? No hard feelings or anything, but it was just time to move on. I want to help you unfriend your old car today and give you something to tweet about. Hey, this is Randy Visser from Talladega Ford with the deal everyone will like. Unfriend your old car today by trading it into us, and we'll give you $5,000 over Kelley Blue Book value for it. Now that's a deal worth sharing. Still making payments on a car you hate? Trade it in even if you owe way too much on it and get in a nicer, newer car with little or even zero money down. Come see us and start taking your selfies in a nicer, newer car today.
The Wellborn Panthers and the Weaver Bearcats live at JSU Stadium at Jacksonville State University for the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. A full weekend of Spring Jamboree football games, all held here on the JSU field and all held live on TV. You can't beat it. It's an opportunity for these kids that many will never have the opportunity to repeat. Weaver on offense. You see Hubbard bootlegging around the far side, and he is going to go all the way into the 38-yard line before being forced out of bounds, and he'll pick up a first down for the Bearcats.
Yeah, that's where his athleticism really comes into the picture, because he holds the ball up. That way it keeps the defensive backs honest, and it keeps them back and it makes sure they keep backpedaling to keep up with the receivers back there. But what that does is create a whole lot of space on the inside in between. He is able to take advantage of that space and pick up a big first down.
First and 10 for the Bearcats. Hubbard in the shotgun formation. Forbes in motion. This time the handoff goes to Tyreek Hall in the fullback position.
Hall's a big running back for the Weaver Bearcats. Has a lot of size as opposed to D'Lo Forbes, who has a lot of speed on the outside. So it really gives Weaver that 1-2 punch on the inside and on the outside with both those running backs.
A couple of yards on the gain there into the 36-yard line. Second down. Twins to the left, twins to the right. Forbes goes into motion. This time Hubbard's going to keep it for himself. Tries to take it up the middle. He's going to gain a couple to the 34-yard line.
VCO Elston there on the tackle. Big number 76 plugged up that hole really well for Wellborn. Brings up a big third down here, about 3rd and 5. Had Elston not made that tackle, probably would have seen a first down there for Weaver.
Third and about 5 to go for the Bearcats. Hubbard drops back like he's going to throw, and he's going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage and sacked back at the 41-yard line. A big loss on the play there.
Nice play there by Tyler Lewis coming along the backside of this play, and they've utilized this a lot. And D'Lo Forbes just not able to handle Lewis as he comes along the backside, and Lewis is one of those senior starters, one of 9 senior starters for this Wellborn club, and that's one of the things that Coach Jeff Smith was super excited about heading into this year. A lot of these players that are on the field now were younger players last year, no experience really on the varsity level. They got off to a slow start, ended with an 8-4 season, but this year, a lot of experience back. Lewis is one of those guys.
Going for it on 4th down for the Bearcats, and we're going to have a timeout called by the Weaver Bearcats. We'll take the timeout with them. And be back in just a moment as Welborn leads 7-0.
Sheriff Larry Amerson is a proven professional law enforcement executive, a man of integrity with education, experience, and training. Selected to be the president of the National Sheriff's Association in recognition of leadership and innovation, he is prepared and eager to continue to protect the people of Calhoun County. Vote Amerson in the Republican primary on June 3rd to re-elect a proven conservative leader, Sheriff Larry Amerson.
This is Larry Amerson, and I approve this message.
We are celebrating all month long at Buster Miles Chevrolet during our 67th anniversary sale. And to celebrate, we are offering huge discounts on all new Chevys, like the new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Save over $7,500 off MSRP. Or the all-new 2014 Chevy Impala, only $25,660. So don't miss our 67th anniversary sale at Buster Miles Chevrolet at our original downtown location in Heflin for the difference worth driving since 1947.
Day number 2 of the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam, live at JSU Stadium at Jacksonville State University. Burgess Snow Field, and people shading themselves from the bright sunlight out here this afternoon. A beautiful, comfortable day, reminiscent of a fall day for some football. Sean McKinney gets the call on this play for the Weaver Bearcats. A reverse play there, and he'll take the ball into about the 38-yard line.
Yeah, try to get tricky there on the reverse play. On 4th down, executed pretty well, but good job by Welborn players just staying at home along the backside. Both Kevin Mixon and Corey Tignor were there, and they're able to make the tackle on the backside and give their offense the football back.
So Welborn now on offense. Landon McChristy under center. He's going to fake the handoff, keep it to himself, coming to the near side, faked everybody off of the defense, and a long run for McChristy. He'll go down to the 12-yard line, all the way to the 12-yard line. Big play by Landon McChristy.
Yeah, you've seen his toughness. You've seen him tackle. You've seen him make big plays behind the line of scrimmage, and there he shows you a little bit of his speed as well. Gets along to the outside. This was a design run. He is one of our ERA King players to watch. He is the one for the player to watch for the Welborn Panthers. We talked about it earlier. He's been starting ever since his freshman season, so a lot of varsity experience for head coach Jeff Smith. We've talked about how Jeff Smith has had a lot of really, really good leaders on their team. Probably none more influential than Landon McChristy, and he's hoping to have a big senior year starting with this spring jam.
This time McChristy with a handoff. And a touchdown. That handoff went to Kevin Mixon, and Mixon takes it in 12 yards for another touchdown for the Welborn Panthers.
2 plays, bang, bang. Utilize both of your seniors. You get the ball after a 4th down stop. You use one senior, Landon McChristy, to get the ball down there, and then you use your other senior, Kevin Mixon. He's the other one who's been starting since his freshman season. And both Mixon and McChristy making big plays on that series to give the Panthers a 2-touchdown advantage.
Dakota Gravett on for the point after attempt. And it is good as well with 8:49 remaining in the half. Welborn 14, Weaver nothing here in the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. Welborn had a 8-4 season last year. They made it to the second round of the playoffs where they lost to 5, 6-1 in the region, and but moving into Region 6 of Class 3A, and that is going to be a tough region for these guys to play in. We're going to be talking about Asheville, Glencoe, Ohatchee, Piedmont, Pleasant Valley, Weaver, and Westbrook Christian. And that's going to be an exciting region to play in. Let's go down to the field again with John Holder. All right, looks like a little technical difficulty with the sideline report there. No audio, that we weren't getting any audio there. So Looked like he had Alan Gilbert with him, and talking about the officials, we saw one of the officials wearing a GoPro camera on his hat earlier. I saw Gilbert out there on the field earlier filming with an iPad as well, taking some videos. So looks like some coaching of the referees going to be going on today as well.
Yeah, and Alan Gilbert is one of these guys. He has been everywhere on high school football level, high school basketball level as well, the college basketball scene. So he knows Alabama high school football rules as good as anybody, and as well as anybody in this state. And so I'm sure he'll be using this spring jam, just like the players and coaches are, to get themselves ready for the season and get some future roles ready for the season. We'll have that shortly for you.
And the kickoff, T.J. Thompson picks up the return, and he'll take it back to the 35-yard line. Now let's go back down to the field with John.
Okay, guys, we changed locations. Alan Gilbert with the Mid-East Officials Association going to explain really technology, on-field camera with one of the officials, and also you've been on the field with an iPad. Tell us what's going on.
Well, you know, officials are just like players and coaches. If they can see plays, they learn so much better than just being told about it. So we're going to use any technology that's available for our guys to get better. And I know that coaches appreciate that. I know players appreciate that. And I know officials appreciate that. So we're going to use everything that we can for us to get better.
So you use film from the officials, the camera that's there, and what you film on the iPad to get better, right?
Right. We have a Hudl account just like the coaches do. And a lot of times coaches will send us their game film so we can watch. But typically in the past, we've only gotten just a press box view. But by having a camera on the head of the official, then we get to actually what they're seeing. We get their point of view, and we can go over that in our meetings.
Good stuff, guys. High tech comes to high school football.
Thank you very much, John and Alan. And we see a turnover on the field while that conversation was going on. We had a high snap over the head of Paul Hubbard, and he just was not able to get a handle on it. And the ball was recovered by Welborn back on the 22-yard line.
I'll tell you, everybody in white does not want to see that play again. I'll tell Mr. Gilbert and the GoPro camera to turn off for that series. It was not good football, but Welborn comes right back.
Looks like Mixon on the carry again this time for the Panthers. He'll pick up to the 17-yard line to bring up second down for Welborn. And immediately Welborn already challenging and threatening to score once again.
Yeah, this Welborn football team, they are led, like we said, by those two seniors. Also, that big offensive line up front. These guys who were a young group last year: Dakota Gravitt, Rashard Willett, as well as Ethan Beatles, Chandler Cupp, and Jeremiah Farmer. They've done a fantastic job today.
McCrisky with the toss. I believe it's Mixon on the carry, and he'll be marked out at near the 8-yard line. Mixing things up on the sideline down there a little bit. And referees having to get involved and break these guys up, and we saw this yesterday with the passion of these kids. It's not just a practice game. They're out there just like it's in the fall, and they're fighting for a playoff position, and they're out here really giving it all they've got for a spring game.
Well, they know that this is important. I mean, obviously what's the most important is to show effort, to show attitude, to get better, and really use a foundation for the summer. But both these teams really want to win this game because this is a precursor as to what's going to happen in the fall.
DJ Roden gets the call up the middle this time into about the 7-yard line. A couple of yards gained on the play. Bring up second and a goal to go. Looks like they're going to mark him near the 6-yard line. So second and goal at the 7, at 6 rather.
And Welborn has a kind of unorthodox way that they call their plays. Head coach Jeff Smith will bring it in, and he'll use Jake Thrasher, one of the receivers, to call the play. Tell the play to Landon McCrisky, and McCrisky will tell it to the offense.
Mixon on the carry in for the touchdown from 6 yards out. Another 6 for the Welborn Panthers.
And another 6 for Kevin Mixon. 2 touchdowns for big number 28. He had 2,000-yard rushing seasons over the last 2 years, in his sophomore and junior season, over 1,000 yards apiece, and looks like he's well on his way to another 1,000-yard season as As he walks one in for the Wellborn Panthers. And Wellborn, you've seen DJ Roden. You'll see a lot of Kevin Mixon. We talked about it earlier in this broadcast. Head coach Jeff Smith likes to use a lot of the two running back system, not use just one horse, to use them the entire time, the entire game, but really keep two fresh legs in there, and they've both been playing well.
Going for the two-point conversion. And it's going to be no good. Looks like Roden got the call on that one. And we will take a timeout and be back in just a moment from the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam.
At Wellborn, it's all about togetherness. We over me.
At Walter Wellborn High School, we value tradition, pride, and hard work. Traditions are the glue that bind us together. Our pride keeps our heads held high in spite of adversity. It keeps a Wellborn Panther going when the weight of the world is on us.
Walter Wellborn High School Student Council.
Who's got that beat? That WWHS beat.
We got that beat. That WWHS beat. And it goes like...
Walter Wellborn High School FFA.
PYH 423. Walter Wellborn High School softball. Yeet! To draw or not to draw. Walter Wellborn High School Art Club.
Our values do not exist in isolation, but are interwoven into both our academic program and extracurricular activities. It's always a great day to be a Panther. Go Panthers!
On the campus of Jacksonville State University, Wellborn leads Weaver by a score of 20-0 in day number 2 of the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. As you get a good look at the library building there at Jacksonville State. We talked about this yesterday, Gerhard. From up here on the 6th floor of Stadium Tower, there's not much of a better view anywhere in college football to work a college football game or a high school game at a college stadium. You got the mountains behind us. You got the campus around. It's a beautiful place, especially when the sun's shining.
A lot of forethought by the Jacksonville State administration, the Jacksonville State athletic department to build this thing and really put a lot of resources into their football stadium. And this press box, the suites down below, the dormitory that sits behind us is all just a genius concept that they added to Burgess Snow Field and makes JSU Stadium one of the best sites, as you said, in college football.
Nice kickoff there by Dakota Gravitt. And the return's going to come out to the 16-yard line. TJ Thompson looks like on the return for the Weaver Bearcats.
The one good thing about both these teams doing live kicking is you actually get to see a lot of your special teams players. A lot of the special teams guys are guys that are reserves, guys that you'll see a little bit later on in the game. But these special teams plays are ones where guys like big number 35 there, Dalton Epps, can get on the big screen and he sees himself on the big screen. He knows he made a big play. You'll probably see him a little bit later in the game, but it's guys like him that can really earn spots after coaches go back and evaluate this tape because they are doing live kicking game.
Hubbard from the shotgun formation where he's been all night long. Fakes the handoff, keeps it to himself. And he'll make it out to near the 20-yard line to gain about 3 yards on the play. Looked like Tyreek Hall in the running back position.
Weaver really wants to be able to get on a roll here. It's been a while since they were able to create some momentum from that first drive. Really, it's been all Wellborn since then, and a big turnover by Weaver. They also put the ball on the ground before that and picked up by Elliott Moore. So, you know, Weaver wants to come out on the series rolling.
Hand off to D'Lo Forbes, and he has nowhere to go. He'll be tackled as soon as he gets the ball. And the play will lose about a yard back to the 18-yard line.
He didn't make the tackle, but Ethan Beatles, big number 62, really created some disruption up in the middle. It's a good shot there of Beatles. And that disruption really slowed the steps of D'Lo Forbes and really nowhere to go. Brings up a 3rd and long.
3rd down for the Bearcats. Just less than 6 minutes to go in the first half here. Wellborn leading 20-0. McKinney goes into motion. Hubbard tosses to McKinney out on the left side, and he is not going to make it back to the line of scrimmage, so another loss of about a yard on the play brings up 4th down for the Bearcats.
This time it was Ethan Beatles on the tackle. 2 monster plays there by big number 62, one on the inside, one on the outside, so you see his versatility. And one of Weaver's calling cards is wanting to spread the ball and go outside, really outside the hash marks. But so far, it's to no avail. The Wellborn defense has really adjusted to that style of play here in the second half or second quarter.
And Weaver set to punt. Riley Benavides in the punter's position. He'll get the punt off. Taken at the 47-yard line. And this one could go all the way back. And the punt return for a touchdown. That is Kevin Mixon.
Give him the hat trick. It's the old 3-time score for the the Wellborn Panthers. He is one that they will call on in every facet of the game. He plays secondary, he plays running back, and as you see, he is a great special teams returner. And he will be a monster player for this team, and he will put up a lot of numbers and have a lot of touchdowns. Already has 3 in just 2 quarters of play here, and just a great job of blocking. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of just one-on-one. He's just faster than the guy that you put in front of him, and he takes it to pay dirt and gives Wellborn a huge advantage in this game.
Dakota Gravett on for the point after. Straight on kicker, and this one is going to fly off to the right side and be no good. So 4:41 remaining in the first half. Wellborn takes a 26-0 lead. We'll take a break and be back to JSU Stadium in just a moment.
Power comes from people. People who provide more than just electricity. People who are committed to strengthening our communities. People who help foster economic growth to create jobs. People who are devoted to making a difference in our state and in the lives of those who live here. Alabama Power. Power to Alabama.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Tim Hodges, Don Hudson, J.D. Hess, and Rudy Abbott, asks that you take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Day 2 of the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam underway. Wellborn leading Weaver 26-0. And our opening game, we're in the second quarter of the opening game tonight. This game being brought to you by Sunny King Toyota, the Calhoun County Commission, Alabama Power, and Jackson Mortgage Company. And remember, if you have to step away from your TV and you'd like to keep up with the game, you can also see us streaming online. Tonight, I think it's on Ustream.com. But the best way to find it is to go to our website, tv24.tv. On the right side of the front page there, you'll see the link that you can click that'll take you right to our streaming, and you can watch it on your computer, on your mobile device, on your phone, however you'd like to watch it and see the entire Calhoun County Spring Jam wherever you happen to be, anywhere you've got internet access. TJ Thompson takes the kickoff. And he'll be tackled at about the 21-yard line. So Weaver gets another chance on offense. Let's see what they can do here.
Nice play there by Jake Thrasher. Take a good look there. Big number 14, and Thrasher's a junior for this ball club, a rising junior. All the years that we're giving you are the years that they are going into. A lot of them are finishing up school. So he's actually a sophomore right now in the classroom, but we consider him a junior as we look ahead to the 2014 season. Keep that in mind as we give you these years. It's the year that they were going into.
Number at quarterback. Hall in motion, coming to the near side. The play comes to the near side. The toss goes to D'Lo Forbes. He runs into one of his guys and then bounces off and makes it out to about the 22-yard line, gaining about a yard in the process.
Weaver looks to be continuing to run the ball along the outside there, running to the short side of the field. Now with the ball on the right hash mark, see if they go back to the left side of the field with all the distance out there. But Wellborn so far doing a pretty good job of adjusting, especially in the second quarter. Really did a good job of adjusting, putting an extra man to the wide side of the field or the short side of the field, whichever way that Weaver wanted to run. As we see a trip set here on the left side with Farman there on the right side.
Second down for the Bearcats. Hubbard in trouble. Gets away from that trouble, still looking to throw the ball. Left-handed throw across the middle, and it is dropped right in the hands of one of his receivers. That is number 30, Tyreek Hall, who had made it out to about the 45-yard line, was coming back to help his quarterback, and the ball just bounces right out of his hands.
Yeah, you know, Tyreek Hall wants this back because this was one of those plays that was really busted from the beginning, because there you see DJ Roden making a play on the ball, but Hubbard able to escape, find the open receiver, and he just doesn't get those big paws on it. And you know he wants that one back. Good job there by Paul Hubbard, really making something out of nothing. And you know that's a play that they could probably go back to a little bit later on in this game. Went to the wide side of the field with only one defender back there. So we'll see if Coach Daryl Hamby puts that one back in his playbook as we get a flag here on the play, and looks like might be a delay of game.
So the delay of game penalty will back us up 5 yards back to the 17-yard line. And Gerhard, might be a good time for Weaver to start thinking about throwing the ball from where they're at. Wellborn looking right into the setting sun as the sun sets behind the JSU Fieldhouse. And you can see by the shadows on the field, Wellborn defensive backs are going to have a difficult time seeing the ball if they put it in the air.
That's a good point. And we'll see if Coach Dale Hamby dials up a play pass for this team.
Forbes gets the toss. And he makes it out to the 25-yard line. Regains some of that lost yardage, but it'll be fourth down at the 25 with about 6 yards yet to go.
And it looks like the Weaver offense will punt once again. Last time they gave up a touchdown, so you know Coach Hamby preached to his guys, make sure you all stay in your lanes and use the good fundamental technique, because it's the same returner out there, Big Kevin Mixon. He's got 3 touchdowns on the day so far. He's got 3 of the 4 so far for Wellborn in this 26-0 game. And right now we got about 3 minutes to go, so the starters will play first half.
Nice high punt. This time there will not be a return. They kick it away from Mixon. And it'll be downed back at the Wellborn 47-yard line. 26-0 your score. Wellborn leading Weaver. We'll take a break and be back in a moment.
Excitement is in the air for Peggy Miller Locker, and it's all because she's running for Circuit Court Judge in Calhoun and Cleveland counties. Peggy has always made public service a priority, so why not give her your vote on June the 3rd to meet the needs of families and children?
Hi, I'm Peggy Miller Locker. I ask for your vote on June the 3rd. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of children and families in Calhoun and Cleveland counties.
Paid for by the committee to elect Peggy Miller Locker.
About this time last year, our air conditioner just flat died.
It was completely worn out.
So we called Kelly with Cleghorn HVAC. He showed us our options, and we chose all new high-efficiency Ruud heating and cooling systems.
Now they're comfortable and saving money.
And we're sure glad we called.
Call us today and get up to a $1,200 rebate and a 10-year worry-free warranty with a new Ruud system for your home. We're Cleghorn HVAC Services, an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer.
Back with day number 2, the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam, Wellborn and Weaver. In our opening game of the night, we have Sax and Alexandria coming up in the second game a little bit later on this evening. Wellborn back on offense. McChristy fakes a toss, brings it to the near side, and another long run for the senior as he'll get down to the 31-yard line.
Jordan Montgomery, Spencer Cruz are the ones that really helped blow this play wide open. Downfield blocking. Take a look here at your screen. It'll be towards the left side of the field. Watch number 6 and then number 10 on the outside. Get some huge blocks and springs Mr. Landon McChristy, who's already had a huge game. He's our ERA King player to watch for the game. Another big first down for this Wellborn offense. They've done a lot of it just by running the football, both with McChristy and Kevin Mixon.
And off to Roden this time. He'll gain a couple down to the 29-yard line. McChristy and Mixon are going to give us quite a run for player of the game decision later on. A little early to be thinking about that, but we got to watch throughout the whole thing. And so far, both of these young men have had excellent games.
And they've done it different ways. Of course, Kevin Mixon just had a punt return, so he has a special teams touchdown and 2 offensive touchdowns. And McChristy has lots of defensive plays and lots of offensive runs. Let's take another look here at the Wellborn offense.
Another interesting play from the Wellborn offense. We have Jordan Montgomery on the carry. That was just a really quick reverse type play as McChristy handed the ball to Mixon. Mixon immediately gave it back to Montgomery. You can see the quick exchange right there. Boy, that can be confusing if you're on the defense trying to figure out who's got the ball.
It reminds me a lot of those wing T principles that teams used to run back in the day, and instead of the outside handoff, you run it back towards the inside. Create a lot of confusion along the middle, and if one player's out of their gap, that's all you need to really spring yourself free. And big Jordan Montgomery's had 2 huge blocks, and it's good to see big number 6 get rewarded with the run as well. It sets up the Wellborn offense with 1st and goal.
1st and goal at the 8. DJ Roden gets it. He's the first guy through. He'll get inside the 5-yard line. I think they'll mark him at about the 3.5 or 4.
As a Wellborn offense, you see head coach Jeff Smith. He demands and he wants perfection at all times. It's the way he runs his practices. It's the way he wants every game to run. And he chews on that pin as well. He has a 26-0 lead and knocking on the door, but he's working on that pin.
He's working on that pin pretty hard there. 2nd goal from the 4-yard line. Looked like there could have been a little bit of motion on the Wellborn offensive line, but no flag, and we do have a touchdown. I think that was Kevin Mixon carried it in one more time.
Give him 4 touchdowns on the day. What a player he is for this team, and really set up by a lot of things by this offense. You saw Jordan Montgomery have a big block for it, a big play by Landon McChristy, and then he had a big play as well. And then you give to big number 28 to finish the deal. And what a game he's having for these Wellborn Panthers. And if you're Coach Darrell Hamby, you know that you can't really be super discouraged because you know you've lost a lot of players. And we'll talk about that after we come back from the break. But this team has a lot to build on as they head into the spring, as we see another missed extra point.
Another missed extra point by Dakota Gravitt, and that'll take us to a score of 32-0. Wellborn over Weaver. We'll be back in just a moment.
I see public service as a high calling, and particularly in family court, where the most important issues in a family are determined. I've practiced law in domestic relations court since 1981, and that experience helps me make the best decisions for the parties who come before me. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Please vote for me on June the 3rd.
Forsyth Builders are passionate about what they do. A full-service contracting firm, Forsyth handles a variety of jobs, including industrial, commercial, renovations, and new construction. Forsyth has become a leader in construction management and has constructed or made additions on a number of area businesses like Noble Bank and ABS Business Systems, additions to Anniston's Country Club and F&M Bank.
Remember to make Forsyth Building Company your first choice for quality construction.
Just before halftime in game number 1 of the day number 2, Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. Getting ready for another kickoff. As you look at Landon McChristy, the senior quarterback for the Wellborn Panthers. Our ERA King Real Estate player to watch for Wellborn, and we have watched him have a great game so far. He along with Kevin Mixon.
Both players Guys, we've talked about before, both seniors started since they were freshmen, so this stage, these games, these environments, nothing new to them. They've been to the second round of playoffs in the last 3 combined seasons. In all 4 years, they've been to the playoffs.
Kickoff is kicked along the ground. Looks like Dion Monroe, who's gets the call there for the return. He'll go down near the 36-yard line.
This is a good learning point here for Weaver. Weaver lost a lot of talent last season. 3 players will play college football that played for Weaver last year. You had Daniel Wilson signed with Lenore Ryan University in North Carolina. Austin Jennings and Fernando Forbes signed scholarships with Faulkner. Timothy Hawkins is also looking at signing a scholarship here late in the spring signing season for the NCAA. So 3 guys, maybe potentially 4 guys that sign scholarships. And guys like Chris English, who signed a basketball scholarship as well. So there's also a lot of talent. So we'll be trying to find more of it here in the summer.
Hubbard rolling out to try to find someone to throw to, and he's going to be sacked with a huge loss back near the 21-yard line.
We've seen this.
Lose about 15 on that.
Yeah, we've seen this before, especially with Tyler Lewis. This is the second and third time he's really come along that backside, come along the weak side of the play. And then on the other side, you had Corey Tigner. There they are shaking hands and congratulating one another. They both played super defensive football for this football team.
Second down. And about 25 yards to go for the Bearcats. Hubbard keeps it for himself. He's got some running room, going to make up some of that yardage, and he'll get to the 32-yard line before being brought down by the Panthers.
And if you're Weaver offense, you like that. You like what he's able to bring to you. If you're Welborn, you'll take that. You'll take this run play on a second and long and create a third and long situation. That really means that not that they don't have confidence, but they're just not putting the ball in the air as we head into halftime here. Fantastic showing by Welborn.
Absolutely. The clock runs out on the first half of action. Welborn leads this spring game by a score of 32-0 as part of the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. And in the second half, Gerhard, I'm sure we're probably going to see a lot of the younger players getting a little playing time and getting to get out in front of the coaches a little bit and let the coaches see how they can do playing against an opponent instead of just in practice.
Yeah, everybody wants to talk about the starters and whatnot, but really a lot of these spring games, it's really critical for your younger guys to get them on tape, get them evaluated, playing against another opponent, seeing which of your guys can actually help you out in the fall, because really teams that have a lot of good players, they really need those middle players to kind of step up, be able to give those guys a break. So you want to get quality depth in the spring. You see that a lot in college football as well. You want to get quality depth, and those guys will get their opportunity in the second half.
We're at halftime, and we will be back in just a moment. Give us a couple of minutes. The Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam.
Attention race fans, don't miss Talladega Short Track's Thunder Thursday, May 29th, featuring 120-mile-per-hour USCS Outlaw Sprint Cars presented by K&N Filters, plus NASCAR veteran Ken Schrader racing in the K&N Filters USCS Outlaw Modifieds, the Neesmith Late Models, and Stock Car Racing. Thunder Thursday with USCS Outlaw Sprint Cars, Outlaw Modifieds, Neesmith Late Models, Stock Car Racing, and Ken Schrader. Thursday, May 29th at Talladega Short Track on Speedway Boulevard. Estaboga, be there.
When it comes to the financing of your home, experience counts. At Jackson Mortgage Company, put that experience to work for you. There's a reason homeowners across East Alabama have chosen Jackson Mortgage Company since 1994. Jackson Mortgage Company is a full-service mortgage company offering VA, FHA, and conventional financing with competitive rates. Let Jackson Mortgage Company put their experience to work for you. And you remember, if you need a home loan, call my daddy.
The physical therapists and athletic trainers at Dr. Clinton Ray Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy are dedicated to bringing the patients of Northeast Alabama the most advanced therapy treatments available to return you to your active lifestyle. Dr. Clinton Ray and Dr. Jeffrey Lawler are both committed to providing excellent surgical care of your orthopedic needs. The doctors and therapy staff have the desire and experience to treat you like a world-class athlete, but with a personal touch.
We are celebrating all month long at Buster Miles Chevrolet during our 67th anniversary sale. And to celebrate, we are offering huge discounts on all new Chevys, like the new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Save over $7,500 off MSRP. Or the all-new 2014 Chevy Impala, only $25,660. So don't miss our 67th anniversary sale at Buster Miles Chevrolet at our original downtown location in Heflin for the difference worth driving since 1947.
Halftime at Jacksonville State University for the Calhoun County Spring Jam with the Pigskin Roundup. Wellborn leads 32-0 over Weaver in the first game of day 2 here of the Spring Jam, and a nice crowd enjoying the program today. A lot of folks here watching these ball games, and we've got another big game coming up in a short while. Full games today instead of the half games that we played yesterday, but full games today, and we'll have Saxon Alexandria coming up in the nightcap game in just a little while. But right now, halftime here in the first game, and so far it has been all Wellborn, all Landon McChristie, and all Kevin Mixon.
4 touchdowns for Kevin Mixon, a touchdown for Landon McChristie. But what you're seeing right now is the difference in experience levels for Wellborn and for Weaver. Wellborn last year was sitting in Weaver's position. A lot of inexperienced players coming into the spring. A lot of those guys are now back. You mentioned 2 of them, Landon McChristie as well as Kevin Mixon. A total of 9 seniors are back, 6 juniors. So you're seeing that experience that Wellborn has juxtaposed against the inexperience against that Weaver has, replacing a quarterback that started for the last 4 years, 3 other players that went on to play college football. So you're seeing that right now. You're seeing it on the scoreboard. It's not really indicative of the way that these 2 teams will play in the fall. But as we said earlier in the telecast, both these teams will be in 3A Region 6. So, you know, the Wellborn fans are going to be like, hey, you remember the spring game when it comes back in the fall.
Exactly. Let's talk about that 3A Region 6. Wellborn's moving from a 2A classification to a 3A classification. Got put in that same region with Weaver and several other big teams. It's going to be a tough region. Piedmont's in that region as well. Westbrook Christian. It should be an exciting region to keep an eye on.
It's a lot of power football and a lot of good football traditional schools. You know, you have Piedmont, who year in and year out wins 9, 10, 11, 12 games. You have Westbrook Christian that always puts up solid runs. You have Glencoe in there, one of the toughest teams in the entire state. Asheville, that gives teams a run. Ohatchee, who looked great yesterday. So you have a lot of these teams that will challenge one another. And so you really want to come out in the spring and have a good showing. And Wellborn right now is doing that, just that.
They certainly are, and let's talk about the catch everybody up on the practice, these spring games, how this works. This is, even though we're seeing full play today, you know, most spring games, you don't have an active kicking game, as we talked about earlier. This is basically practice number 10 of the spring. High school kids, high school teams get 10 practices, so they've had 9 spring practices so far. This is the final practice of the spring season for these football teams. So in nine practices, how much can you really get done when you've got you've been off since December, and now all your seniors have graduated, they're gone, you're bringing new guys in and you're teaching you guys a lot of stuff. How much can you really get done in 9 days?
It's really hard to get really much of anything done, because also remember, a lot of these guys also play a spring sport, whether it's track, whether it's baseball, and so a lot of the guys, they might even get a late start to spring football as well. So a lot of the terminology and just getting the football legs about you, you really start to get it maybe day 6, day 7, day 8, and next thing you know, you're playing at JSU. So it's not easy to get the ones in, but you could tell the teams that really, really work hard at it. You saw Ohatchee yesterday that looked really good. You saw Wellborn today. So you could tell that both of these teams have really put a lot into their spring practices as they springboard to the summer.
Absolutely. And John Holder joins us again from down on the sidelines.
All right, guys, we have a very special guest with us here at halftime. If you follow Wellborn football at all, you know David Wormy Haynes. We'll call him Wormy. He has been an institution at Wellborn. A couple of years ago in our Pigskin Roundup magazine, we did a feature on him as our East Alabama legend. Not only a great player at Wellborn, but this fall will begin his 53rd season of having never missed a Wellborn football game. So let me tell you, folks, 52 straight years he has never missed a Wellborn football game. That's incredible.
You ain't supposed to miss a Wellborn football game. That's why we turn the lights on.
It's amazing. You've had some incredible stories down through the years of the lengths it took for you to get to a ball game on Friday night.
We've had a few experiences, yeah. Most of them go pretty well, but every once in a while something exciting comes up.
It's amazing. I mean, you are known as Mr. Wellborn football because obviously there's no one who's seen more Wellborn football than you have. You've seen every football game, every spring game or jamboree that they played in going back 52 years.
Yep, every one of them. So it don't matter what, I'm there.
What's the greatest night that you ever remember of all of Wellborn history?
It's hard to pick out. Now, we've had so many great games at Wellborn. I mean, the school is it's been football crazy ever since I've been there. And it's just every night, every game is exciting. Some of them are just greater than others.
Nobody loves Wellborn football. Nobody's crazier about it, I guess, than you, right?
Well, I don't know. Coach Smith he's pretty well crazy about Wellborn football. You know, I started him in football. I went and picked him up at his house, drove him to the Little League practice, and he played for me his first year. That's how he got started in football.
It's been gratifying, I think, over the last 4 or 5 seasons to see Wellborn football come back to be what it once was, to come back and see that style of play and to see the success in the playoff games and the big wins out on the hill, right?
You're right about that. Since Coach Smith has got back, it has been great. It's like Wellborn football used to be. You say used to be. I go back a long way, and it's always been hard-nosed, knock-down, drag-out football.
And this year you're moving back into Class 3A, and one of the things that I think Wellborn folks, I know Coach Smith's excited about, you're back playing kind of neighborhood football again. It's not the Fultondales and the Vincents anymore. You're going to go back to playing Weaver, Piedmont, Glencoe. You got Ohatchee, Pleasant Valley, a lot of the county teams on the schedule.
That's the great thing about, just being Calhoun County and play. Calhoun County has great football, bar none. You can go anywhere you want to, but you won't find better football than Calhoun County.
Before we let you go, I guess there's, until the day you die or you're physically not able to come, you're going to be on the sidelines at Wellborn football, right?
Well, my son said they was going to bury me on the 50-yard line, so I'm going to be here as long as I can come.
David Wormy Haynes, he is Wellborn football here again, about to begin his 53rd season of never missing a Wellborn football game. Thanks.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, back up to you in the booth.
Thank you very much, John. And it is halftime, day number 2 of the Calhoun County Spring Jam. As you see, the Sacs team waiting for their opportunity to play. That's coming up later on tonight. We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, this is Vernon Thomas, General Manager, Sonny King Toyota in Scion. And this May, that's right, we're racing for a record. We're going to break all the new sales records this month, and you're going to be the winner. You can save $5,000 off MSRP on all new Camrys, Tundras, Highlanders, Benzes, Avalons. We got so many deals, we don't have time to talk about it. Come experience the King difference at all new Sonny King Toyota in Scion on a new motor mile in Oxford, Alabama, where the customer is king.
When it comes to great tasting barbecue, nobody does it better than Dad's Barbecue. Dad's Barbecue is slow hickory cooked to perfection, and Dad's menu includes a wide selection of popular items such as our smoked chicken sandwich, ribs, salads, and the best chicken fingers in town. And Dad's does catering, so let Dad's take care of your next party, family reunion, church function, or any type of get-together. Family owned since 1985. Dad's Barbecue, with locations in Anniston and Rainbow City.
Forsyth Builders are passionate about what they do. A full-service contracting firm, Forsyth handles a variety of jobs, including industrial, commercial, renovations, and new construction. Forsyth has become a leader in construction management and has constructed or made additions on a number of area businesses like Noble Bank and ABS Business Systems, additions to Anniston's Country Club and F&M Bank.
Remember to make Forsyth Building Company your first choice for quality construction.
I see public service as a high calling, and particularly in family court, where the most important issues in a family are determined. I've practiced law in domestic relations court since 1981, and that experience helps me make the best decisions for the parties who come before me. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Please vote for me on June the 3rd.
There you see the Alexandria Valley Cubs waiting their turn to go on the field later on tonight. Alexandria, the host school for this year's Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. And so great job from all the staff and administration at Alexandria running the Spring Jam and putting all this stuff together for us.
There's a lot of hard work by the staff, by head coach Frank Tucker. He's also the athletic director. He's had a lot of spring sports to deal with as well. The golf team made it to the state championships. You had a softball team that made a long run as well. So it's been a busy time of year, but they were able to put this thing together, get all the teams together, and get all the officials together and put on a great show and great event.
Yeah, speaking of the officials, it is interesting to see the high technology that the officials are using out here today to make themselves better. These guys have a thankless job. I would not put on those stripes and walk on a football field on a Friday night and listen to all the people holler at me. So these guys have a thankless job. But we saw the official with the GoPro camera on his hat earlier, and we saw Alan Gilbert out there with an iPad making video, and all of those things, all those high-tech things would go into helping the officials learn their trade and be better at what they do.
And exactly like players and coaches, and that's exactly what Alan Gilbert said earlier, just like players and coaches want to evaluate what they do, you can do it from up top, but it really is good to get it down low, down on the level where the actual officials are. Now you see male officials, female officials, young officials, veteran officials, and this is a great learning experience for them. This is also a great practice time for them, and really get themselves into a position where they understand the game just a little bit sharper. They know the game a little bit better, and be able to train some of the young ones as well. There you see one of the young officials. Her name is Miss Kayla. And so she's been an official now for the last couple of years. And so this is a good ground for a lot of the younger, new officials to really get their feet wet to the football season as well.
And you'll see a lot of them here that you're not seeing on the field as well because they're here observing.
Right.
You'll see a lot of the officials that are they're wearing their stripes a lot of times, but you never see them on the field. You see them on the sideline, and you'll see Alan Gilbert, some of the other officials who have been around a long time, pointing out different things, talking to them and teaching as the game goes on, just like the coaches are doing, like I said.
And just like every fan wants, they want clean football. They want just a good football game, and they want to see two teams battle and compete, and they love football just as much as anybody else and everybody else. They do a fantastic job. You said it earlier, a thankless job as well. And so we want to shine a little light on that crew over there, and you see Alan Gilbert there in the middle of all of them, and they do a fantastic job. Most of these officials here are veteran officials, have been in 2 and 3 and 4 years. They will also run the passing camp circuit as well over the summer, so they'll have a lot of opportunities to really get on the field, get their feet wet, and get ready for another fantastic season in 2014.
Absolutely. And speaking of another fantastic season of 2014, we have another fantastic season of the Pigskin Roundup show coming up, and this is a bonus year.
Right.
Instead of 13 episodes like we normally get, we're going to get 14 episodes this year of Pigskin Roundup starring John Holder every Friday night during the high school football season, and that's one of the main things. And there you see John on the sideline. Nobody in the state of Alabama knows more about high school football than John Holder does. You cannot stump him on a question related to high school football. And it's an amazing show. Mickey Shadrick's also involved. You involved, Chad Barnett. Lots of us involved behind the scenes as well. And it's a huge team effort for the Pigskin Roundup. But 14 shows coming up this year, and it's a must-see. It's one of those things that you leave your game on Friday night and you immediately go home and watch the Pigskin Roundup, or you go out to a restaurant where you can see it on TV. And, of course, live streaming now, you can simply pull it up on your mobile device while you're in the car as you leave the stadium and go ahead and start watching the game.
Yeah, every Friday night at 10:30, it is the place to be, the Pigskin Roundup, led by John Holder. This is passion, and we're happy to bring it to you again now for an 11th season.
Absolutely. And we'll come back here with more of the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. We'll have the second half coming up in a moment.
Vernon Thomas, general manager, Sonny King, Toyota and Scion. And this May, that's right, we're racing for a record. We're going to break all the new sales records this month, and you're going to be the winner. You can save $5,000 off MSRP on all new Camrys, Tundras, Highlanders, Benzes, Avalon. We got so many deals we don't have time to talk about. Come experience the King difference at all new Sunny King Toyota in Scion on a new motor mile in Oxford, Alabama, where the customer is king.
Looking for a place to have dinner with your family or that special someone? Why not try Affina's, a unique Tuscan grill specializing in Italian fare. From Italian meats sliced daily and baked to perfection to healthy choices for little ones. We look forward to seeing you soon for your next lunch or dinner, or contact us to help you plan your next party or event, because Affina's is all about casual yet sophisticated dining.
Sunny King Toyota, the Calhoun County Commission, Alabama Power, and Jackson Mortgage Company proud to bring you this game tonight between Welborn and Weaver. Thanks to all of our sponsors for the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam, and of course a bunch of sponsors tomorrow for the TV24 Regional Gridiron Challenge. That is going to be about 12 hours worth of football here live on TV24 and live at JSU Stadium. We'll talk about that a little bit more right now. The game at hand, the Weaver Bearcats and the Welborn Panthers, and Welborn leading this game by a score of 32-0 as the captains come back out on the field getting ready to start the second half.
It's a good look there, Coach Daryl Hamby doing some teaching, and that's what all of this spring is about. It's really about teaching, learning, and executing the fundamentals of the game. And especially when you have a young football team, you don't want to have them discouraged by the scoreboard, because this game is not necessarily about winning and losing. It's really about preparing yourself and having a foundation to build upon as you hit the spring and the summer months. So we'll see how the Weaver Bearcats respond after this first half.
And Weaver will be kicking off to Welborn, so Welborn be on offense immediately to start the second half of the game here. And so far the game playing out like so many other Welborn-Weaver games. I don't think we've mentioned it, but Welborn leads this series all-time 16-1, dating all the way back to 1975 when these teams started playing each other. And Welborn, you mentioned earlier, dominating in a lot of different sports as well, going all the way back to the 1980s when Welborn was dominating in baseball. I played at Emma Sansom High School. We made the playoffs, got a couple of rounds into the playoffs, and then we came up against Walter Welborn, and we lost in the playoffs.
Yeah, this is a proud school with a lot of proud tradition. You heard at halftime, John Holder talked to Mr. Wormy Hayes. David Wormy Hayes hasn't missed a football game in over 53 years. Probably hasn't missed a lot of sporting events in that time either. He's running sideline, running the stats on the sideline. But this is a very, very proud athletic program. And when guys like head coach Jeff Smith leave places like Hueytown for this place, you understand the reason why.
Opening kickoff of the second half, taken by number 22, Corey Tigner, the senior from Welborn. And he's going to run it back across midfield and go down at the Weaver 48-yard line.
He's one of the tight ends and a defensive specialist, and you see him there on the special teams as well for this football team. Looks like the Stars will come out and play here in this third quarter. We were unsure of just the way they'll handle this. You will see some of the reserves play here in the second half. Looks like, at least for right now, both Welborn and Weaver will start this third quarter with the first unit.
Christie goes under center for the Panthers. Handoff goes to Mixon. Breaks a couple of tackles, shakes a couple of guys off. They finally drag him down at about the 33-yard line.
I'll tell you what, he's gotten better as a running back, and he's gotten better as a football player over the last 3 years, and he's been on the field since he was a freshman. But where you see his growth is his size, his strength, and his field vision. Take a look at just the way he doesn't go down with shoestring tackles whatsoever. Broke 3, make it 4 tackles before he's finally drugged down, and then even when he goes down, he falls forward, picks up a couple of extra yards. Huge credit to that man, Kevin Mixon, for being a fantastic football player and really growing over the last 3 years, and Coach Jeff Smith has a lot of confidence in him.
This time the handoff goes to DJ Roden. He'll try to take it right up the middle. Looks like he might gain a couple to the 31-yard line for second down.
DJ Roden is a junior for this ball club, and he will kind of be he's kind of the Kevin Mixon of last year. You know, Kevin Mixon will be the kind of the feature back this year. Chance Goodman was the feature back last year. And so he'll take the role of that number 2 back, maybe 1B, so to speak, heading into this season. And both number 28 and 25, good shots of both of them right there, will command that backfield. And then, of course, you have your quarterback, number 12, that can run it as well. So a lot of play action becomes now available to you.
Roden gets the call again. He'll pick up another couple of yards into the 29-yard line. And Roden just a junior as well. So talk about the way Chance Goodman was featured last year. You got Mixon going to be featured this year. And then it'll be Roden's opportunity to be the senior feature next year.
And we see that a lot, especially with Jeff Smith offenses. He likes to use those 2 running back system, much the way that Nick Saban does at Alabama with some of his guys, whether it's, you know, Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson and Eddie Lacy, and this year with Drake and I'm forgetting the other guy's name, but the 2 running back system, 2 running back protocol is what Jeff Smith likes to use.
Mixon gets the call this time, and he'll be hit as soon as he gets the ball. And there will be a loss back to about the original line of scrimmage at the 33-yard line. So 4th down and back to 10 to go for Welborn.
Nice play there by Dion Monroe. We've seen him a couple times make a couple of big plays in the backfield. Here, just a nice surge by that defense. And that's his 2nd tackle for loss in this game. Just came right up the middle on that stunt call and able to tackle him in the backfield. Brings up a long 4th down, and it looks like Welborn will go for it here with the ball sitting right about the 34-yard line.
And as the ball is snapped, we'll have flags coming out. Very few flags over the last day or two. Because they're going to let these guys play pretty well, unless it's something really obvious, which a motion call there. Going to back the ball up 5 yards. Now make it 4th down and about 15, maybe 16. They'll move it back to the 39-yard line, so that'll be 16 to go. And Welborn still in the going for it formation.
Well, it looks like they'll bring 3 receivers to the right side.
They'll throw it up toward the end zone. Tigner almost gets it. He had to run up under it, and he just had to struggle to get there, but it went right through his hands. Almost a touchdown there.
Yeah, you see him. He knows that he should have had that play, and it's a beautiful design play call. Gets behind the back part of the secondary for Weaver. As you take a look from the camera view on the end zone, heading into the goal line that Weaver was trying to go into. That ball was just in his hands, and it's one of those where he'll remember that for the rest of the night. He'll probably remember that for the rest of the summer as well, but that's a play that I'm sure that Welborn will go back to heading into next year.
Weaver has the ball on downs now. Hubbard, the quarterback, is going to keep it. He brings the ball out to the 45-yard line, a gain of about 6 on the play to bring up 2nd down.
Nice play there by Weaver, and it's been a long time since Weaver really created some momentum on their offense. They did it in the very first drive, drove all the way down the field, unable to put it into the end zone, had 2 4th down calls, made the first, missed the second, but ever since then, they haven't been down by the end zone yet. So, here the 3rd quarter with the score, what it is, this is a big series, big possession for the Bearcats.
And there's some motion on the offensive line.
Illegal procedure against the Bearcats.
Weaver will back the ball up 5 yards. Put us back to near the 40-yard line. 2nd down and about 8.5 or 9 to go for the Bearcats.
Actually, you talked about earlier how we haven't seen a lot of penalties, and that's really a good omen heading into the season. And a lot of times in the spring is where you'll see the most penalties, you see the most mental mistakes. But here, pretty clean game relatively.
Some trouble on the handoff there, and Hubbard is going to be sacked back near the 32-yard line. We've seen this happen several times with Weaver, with both D'Lo Forbes and with Tyreek Hall. Just I don't know if that's supposed to be a read play and an option there with the quarterback, and they just can't get together on whether he's going to leave the ball with him or not.
It's one of those where they're standing in so close to each other that it's almost impossible for Paul Hubbard to read. So it might be a formation standing, and it might be a play call, but Jamisio Elston for Welborn has had a fantastic game so far. That's his second sack of the day. He also has a fumble recovery to go along with that sack, so he's taking every advantage of all the miscues for Weaver.
This time a toss back to Forbes, and he'll bring it back to near the line of scrimmage, and that'll be 4th down, 4th and about 15 to go for the Bearcats. So the Bearcats will bring out the punting squad again. Riley Benavides will be punting, number 75 for Weaver.
Take a look here at the replay. Just nowhere to run for D'Lo Forbes. And good gang-style tackling for Weaver. Tyler Lewis, we've called his name a lot today with the tackle with the help of Landon McChristy. And remember the very first punt of the game, Weaver faked it. Haven't gone back to the fake since then, but something to keep your eye on.
Good strong rush from Welborn. There's not going to be a return. It's going to hit just across midfield, roll down to the 44-yard line where it is downed by the Weaver Bearcats.
Ball will be down to about the 44-yard line. It will be 1st and 10, Panthers.
It's a good look there at Coach Jeff Smith with this with this Welborn football team. Talked about it earlier, how in all 5 of his seasons, his team has made the playoffs. In the last 3 seasons, they made the second round of the playoffs. Last year, lost to Fife in a very, very tough football game. I was there down at the Hill in Welborn, and I'll tell you, that was one of those games where it came down to the wire. A late turnover in the end zone stopped them from going to the quarterfinals. You know they want to build on that heading into this season.
McChristy under center, fakes the toss, keeps it for himself, comes to the near side. And he'll get across midfield to the 48-yard line of Weaver.
And once again, Welborn doing nothing tricky. They're not really pulling too much out of their playbook. A lot of the runs and a lot of the formations and philosophies have been the exact same as they go back into with this play calling style. I don't think I've ever seen the way Welborn calls plays. I haven't seen that ever, really. You bring a receiver in or the tight end to call the play, hands it over to the quarterback, and the quarterback tells the offense.
Toss goes to Mixon. He's got nowhere to run. Ends up backpedaling. And they'll mark him down at the opposite 48-yard line. They'll lose about 4 yards on the play to bring up 3rd down. Yeah, in a time when so many teams are going to hand signals or giant signs with giant faces on them. It's kind of an old school way of getting the plays in by actually telling somebody the play and letting them run it in.
Few schools still do that, and they do that with a lot of success. Piedmont's one of those teams, and Coach Steve Smith will just tell it to the quarterback, and Welborn does it too.
Mixon gets this one, goes right up the hash mark to the 46-yard line. This is going to be close to a 1st down, depending on how they mark it, but it looks like it might be a little bit shy. If they put the ball down, let's see what it looks like.
Looks like officials will call timeout so they get this one measured.
They're going to have to measure this one, and yeah, it's going to be a close look, but we will bring the sticks out and measure it.
But I don't know if it really matters. I mean, both teams have gone for 4th and 15s at one point in this football game. So I don't think even if this is a little bit short that Coach Jeff Smith will punt it. Might get it just by the nose.
Hey, look how close that is. Just a couple of inches, if that much, separating Welborn from a 1st down.
It's a big decision here for head coach Jeff Smith. And this is a good time to practice situational football. A lot of coaches will like to use that term because it's one thing to say it in practice, hey, we have 4th and 2, and it's another thing here to use it in a game because really you can't think of this as a 32-0 game. You have to think of this as, hey, this is the middle of the season against a big region opponent. We need a 4th down, a couple of inches.
And they're going to get it with Landon McChristy. Just a quick old school quarterback sneak, just follows his center right across the line of scrimmage. and across the 45-yard line for a first down.
And like we said earlier, a lot of people who are at home might be watching and saying, why are you going for it on 4th down and 2 when you're up 32-0? But this is a good time to get in those situations, as we talked about. It's really more about the situational football, because you can't really think of it as it is right now. You have to think of it as the way it will be in the spring, utilizing the play calls against an opponent really trying to stop you.
Mixon with a handoff to the far side. Get some running room around the left end, and he'll go down to about the 32-yard line. Picks up another first down for the Panthers.
It's a lot of good running plays called by Weaver, and we've seen a lot of Kevin Mixon really up the middle. Here we see him a lot going to the outside, using the wide side of the field, really just keeps bouncing it outside, goes as far as he can go. And then it's just a one-on-one play with him and D'Lo Forbes, but by the time he gets some, already has a first down, and the ball set up inside the 35-yard line.
Mixon again with the carry. He'll make it just about back to the line of scrimmage with no gain to bring up second down.
We hear about 2nd and 10. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see maybe if they go back to that play that they could have scored on in the end zone with Corey Tigner, where Tigner just slid behind the defense. We'll see if Welborn puts this ball in the air, because that play was wide open. That was a 3rd and long. That was a 4th and long. This right here will be a 3rd and long. We'll see what happens.
Christie going to keep it for himself. He gets a little running room through the 25, across the 20, and will be forced out of bounds at the 12-yard line. They'll mark him at the 11-yard line. That's a first down. You mentioned an opportunity to throw the ball there. We've not seen either one of these teams attempt a pass very much at all. Is that indicative of just the offenses that these coaches are going to run, and this is what we're going to see in the fall? Or are they holding something back on us today?
I think there's a little bit of both, and I think also with Weaver, you're breaking in a new quarterback playing in game time situations. So just by the nature of the game, you really want to keep the play calls conservative and not really do things that are outside of his measure, because as we talked about earlier, these teams have only practiced for 9 days. This is the 10th time they've been on the field, so maybe just keeping a little bit more conservative. But as you also said, they might be holding just a little bit back as well, not showing too much of their hand for stuff they want to run in the fall.
Especially since this is will be a regional opponent in the fall. We do have a Weaver player down on the field. Looks like just cramps. They try to stretch those cramps out for him and get him off the field. That's Sean McKinney, who is the free safety on defense there for the Weaver Bearcats. And I think we're seeing a lot today, too, as you were talking about the experienced players and breaking in new players for Weaver. You know, Welborn, your skill players, your big guys out there, they're all juniors and seniors. McChristy, Mixon, Tigner, DJ Roden, these guys, they're juniors and seniors. They've been in this program for a while. They're used to working together, and they're just kind of honing the edges a little bit of putting the final touches on something that they've been doing for a long time. A lot of these Weaver guys, like you said, a new quarterback. He's been had a quarterback that started for 4 years. So there's a lot of true learning going on for this Weaver team. Yeah, and it's one of those situations where Welborn was in Weaver's position not too long ago, and they'll find their way. Weaver will find their way as the summer rolls along. They'll find their way as fall camp comes into play. But Welborn right now is just a well-oiled machine. They've been together, as you said, for so long, and they know that the window for what they want to do, what they want to accomplish, and they want to bring another state championship back to that school, and they know they have a tough road to get there. We talked about it at halftime, just the road that they'll have to play just to get out of their own region to make the top 4 to get into the playoffs. They got to beat the likes of Piedmont, who's in the top 5 in the state just about every year. Glencoe, who always makes a run every single year, too. Hatchie, who looked great yesterday in our Pigskin Roundup Spring Jam Day 1. Asheville, who always gives people trouble. Weaver, who will get better, and Westbrook Christian as well. So they know they have a long road ahead. Almost a touchdown for Welborn there as McChristy goes over to the middle to number 22, Corey Tigner. He just couldn't keep the handle on it. Yeah, that's one where you can probably put a little bit of that one on Tigner, put a little bit of that one on Landon McChristy, and they were talking about it as of actually right then. And It's almost out of his reach. He had to reach for that one. It would have been a great catch had he made it. But that's two that have hit his hands tonight that he has missed. So you know that's something he'll be working on over the summer, is getting a lot of passes thrown to him and making sure he catches the ball in the fall. McChristie, what a run, and he makes that in. That is all McChristie effort all along there on the keeper, just dodging people and pushing his way ahead, and falls across the line of scrimmage for a touchdown.
We've talked about it before, and we talk about it again. When I see him play football, he reminds me a lot of Tim Tebow. He's a quarterback that can really handle the quarterback assignments, but he's also such a tough football player. We see him play middle linebacker. We see him play on the special teams unit. And watch him just run this football here. This is just power football. It's just get one ball or one man on top of the next, keep chugging your feet, and get into that end zone. He's been a fun one to watch, and he knows that this is his senior season. It's time to play.
And that time, the point after is good. So that'll take our score to 39-0. And as it does in the fall, touchdowns always bring out touchdown T-shirts from the Pigskin Roundup. And this weekend is no difference. The touchdown T-shirts are here, and there's several of them been tossed out already throughout the game. May have run out of them already with so many touchdowns on the part of Wellborn.
Sponsored by, there they are with the T-shirts, the Wellborn Cheerleaders. That's sponsored by Dr. Clinton Ray. Also rewards to remember, as John gives them the cue to throw, and they still haven't thrown them yet. They want to hold a couple T-shirts for themselves. But as you said, there have been a lot of touchdowns in this football game, the 39 points that they've scored so far. And Dr. Clinton Ray and Awards to Remember, they do a fantastic job with those touchdown T-shirts every year in the fall, and you'll see those around the community all the time, and fans love those touchdown T-shirts, especially when their team is up. We throw those out every year with our Pigskin
Those are a hot commodity because there are a limited supply of those, even though we take them out during all 13 weeks or 14 weeks this year of the season. And but everybody wants the touchdown T-shirts from the Pigskin Roundup when we go out. And a lot of times they don't want to wait for a touchdown. They try to talk us out of them before the touchdown actually happens.
I have to do a lot of explaining to different people. But hey, the team's got to score a touchdown first. We'll throw those touchdown T-shirts out. But they're always, like you said, a hot commodity with the fans.
Here's the kickoff from Wellborn. And the return is going to be kicked around and having a difficult time and getting a hold of that one. It looks like maybe T.J. Thompson, and ends up having to just fall on it in the end zone.
It's one of the things about live kicking that you get. You also get live returns. And we talked about the sun earlier in the second quarter. That sun might have played a little bit of factor there as he tried to field that football. Not able to get on hold of it, but no damage done. That could have been really bad. That could have been either a safety or maybe even a touchdown for Wellborn. But he's able to get on top of the ball. No harm, no foul, just a touch back at the ball on the 25-yard line.
You never can tell how a football's going to bounce when it hits the ground.
Excuse me, the 20-yard line. 25 is on another level of football.
20-yard line, the starting point for the Weaver Bearcats here in the third quarter. Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter of this game. McKinney in motion. Looks like Hubbard's going to take it for himself, and we've got another Weaver player down with some cramps. Looks like number 58, Tyler Perez. Our 53, make that number 53, Matt Elston.
Looks like he'll come off the field, and you hope that's nothing, because the one thing you do not want in the spring, if coaches can make a checklist of what you do or do not want, the number one thing that you want coming out of the spring is to keep everybody healthy. That's number one. You'd rather lose the game by 200 points than get one of your players hurt for the fall in the games that matter.
And off to D'Lo Forbes. Forbes will get out to the 30-yard line. He'll be close to a first down, but maybe just shy of that first down. Nope, they're going to give it to him. First down at the 30-yard line for Weaver.
Looks like the starters are still in for both squads, not just for the Weaver offense, but also the Wellborn defense. You see Landon McChristie in there. You see Kevin Mixon in there as well as Jordan Montgomery there at safety. as the Weaver players look for some momentum here. And at this point of the game, you don't want to worry about the scoreboard. You don't want to think about the scoreboard. You just want to execute your offense and execute some of the things that you want to do in passing camps and in fall camp.
Hubbard rolling to his right, looking to throw. He's going to have to tuck it and keep it for himself. He'll scramble back to the 29-yard line and lose a yard on the play. And we haven't seen Hubbard throw much today, but rolling to the right side like that, you'll see he is a left-handed quarterback. There's Landon McChristie coming in there and finishing off that tackle.
Quarterback on quarterback, nice little show of sportsmanship there by Landon McChristie. And, you know, both these teams and both those players are really, really tough guys. And they are called upon their team to fill a lot of roles. Both guys play on offense and on defense. And in McChristie's turn, in McChristie's case, also plays special teams.
And there's McChristie again, stepping all the way up to the line of scrimmage and being the first in on that tackle.
Just a playmaker for this ball club as he gets a well-deserved breather. I don't know if anybody deserves it more there than number 12. Has played fantastic on both sides of the football. He will have some scholarship offers, not decided just yet. As there he gets a hug from his coach. But he will be a hot commodity as far as college coaches are concerned. And all they have to do is just watch this tape, and I'm pretty sure that the offers will start come rolling in.
3rd and 12 for the Bearcats. Hubbard with a toss this time out to D'Lo Forbes. And Forbes going to take it out to the 38-yard line. It'll be 4th down and a couple of yards to go for the Bearcats. You see Hubbard there shielding his eyes as he's trying to see the sideline. We talked about the way the sun's setting directly behind the field house, the JSU field house. Now the shadow of the field house reaching out to about the 30 or 35-yard line. But where these guys are playing right now, they're looking directly into the setting sun. And we're going to have a timeout called on the field, or we ran out. Okay, the quarter. That's the end of the quarter. And Wellborn is leading 39-0. We'll take the break and be back in a moment.
Ever have to unfriend someone on Facebook? No hard feelings or anything, but it was just time to move on. I want to help you unfriend your old car today and give you something to tweet about. Hey, this is Randy Visser from Talladega Ford with the deal everyone will like. Unfriend your old car today by trading it into us, and we'll give you $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book value for it. Now that's a deal worth sharing. Still making payments on a car you hate? Trade it in even if you owe way too much on it and get in a nicer, newer car with little or even zero money down. Come see us and start taking your selfies in a nicer, newer car today.
When it comes to the financing of your home, experience counts. At Jackson Mortgage Company, put that experience to work for you. There's a reason homeowners across East Alabama have chosen Jackson Mortgage Company since 1994. Jackson Mortgage Company is a full-service mortgage company offering VA, FHA, and conventional financing with competitive rates. Let Jackson Mortgage Company put their experience to work for you. And you remember, if you need a home loan, call my daddy.
Welcome back as we get ready to begin the 4th quarter. Let's go down to the field to John Holder, and he'll let us know what the format for the 4th quarter is going to be.
Okay, referee Stan Beatty was telling me earlier there will be a couple of changes in the 4th quarter as compared to the first 3 quarters. One, it will be all JV players by agreement with both coaches for the entire 4th quarter. Secondly is there will be no live kicking. The punts will be 30 yards when there's a punting situation. Now the clock will remain the same. They will have a regular clock, but those 2 big changes, all JV players, and also no live kicking in the 4th quarter.
Thank you, John, and that will make things interesting here in the 4th quarter, and an exciting opportunity for these JV players to get out here and get a little pad-on-pad practice as well against an opponent, as opposed to just on the practice field against their teammates.
And I'm sure both coaches told their players in the huddle, hey, look, guys, it's 0-0 right now. It's now your opportunity, your chance to shine, to show us that you can help us out in the fall. And we'll see which guys here come out of this, because these guys will get evaluated just as hard, just as heavily as the guys that played the first 3 quarters. So we'll see which guys can rise to the occasion and which players we'll see play for these teams in the fall.
And immediately before we even start things, Weaver takes a timeout, so we'll take the timeout with him and be back in just a moment.
on the mellophone and French horn Weaver High School Band has shown me what it means to be part of something bigger than yourself.
Wisdom is gained here.
Weaver's a part of me. I've been here all my life. It's helped me become a better person, a better athlete, and my teammates have helped me do a lot of things in life.
Honor is learned here.
At Weaver High School, I know that my teachers want me to succeed.
Success is found here. At Weaver High School, wisdom, honor, and success remain a tradition. Weaver High School, where education is the foundation for tomorrow.
And it looks like now we're ready to start the fourth quarter of action. As we told you earlier, the fourth quarter going to feature all JV players on both sides of the ball. And there's your new quarterback, number 6, Walker Bryant, for the Weaver Bearcats. We'll start things off with a handoff. And a lot of good running room. And Weaver going to get on the board for the first time today after the JV guys come out. That's number 33, Nick Crowder. Touchdown run for the Weaver Bearcats, putting Weaver on the board already.
That's a huge, huge play for a team that's down 39-0. That's a player that can compartmentalize everything and say, hey, this is my opportunity to shine and really get on his first play call of the game. He takes it to the house for 6, and looks like a little bit of busted assignments there for the Wellborn defense. And so, you know, the Wellborn coaches will be able to use that play as a teaching point for their guys. But a nice individual effort there by Nick Crowder, and breaks the scoreless game and gets Weaver out of here with some points on the board.
And a good job. You can see there how he was looking at the rest of the field, looking for his running lanes, looking where he can go. And the attempt to go for 2 is going to fail for Weaver here at this point. But you can see with Crowder there, he started off headed to the left side, and as things got crowded over there, found another lane on the right side and took it all the way to the sideline and right on into the end zone.
Yeah, it's good instincts there by big number 33. We do not have a year on him, but we know he's one of the JV players. As John mentioned, he's one of the guys that they expect to play on Monday nights or Tuesday nights when the JV guys go out, but also looking to get some time on Friday nights when the big lights come on varsity level football, and he did a pretty good job. Let's take a look here, another look at the 2-point conversion. Looks just like a miscue between quarterback and running back, and when the ball goes down there, that is play over in high school football and in college football as well.
No kicking game here in the fourth quarter, so we'll just bring the ball to the 30-yard line for Wellborn. Wellborn's quarterback will be a freshman, number 11, Austin McQueen. Same kind of set, same kind of formations. McQueen's going to keep it himself, take it around the right side. We'll see about a 2, maybe a 3-yard gain out of this play for McQueen.
Nice little play over there by McQueen, and we see both teams really still utilizing the same offenses that they used there in the first quarter and the second and third quarter as well. So a lot of the guys will get evaluated on the same kind of play. So it's not like they're changing up any kind of philosophy. They're not trying to pass the ball more if you're Weaver. You're not trying to run the ball, run the clock out if you're Wellborn, running the exact same plays, the exact same concepts, and see what your guys can do.
They have flags coming out on the snap there. And that's an important part that the point you're talking about there, Gerhard, is having a farm system where the kids are being brought up in the same kind of format as they're going to see when they get to the varsity squad. And some schools don't have that luxury. Some of the larger schools, you got the middle school team under a different coach and a totally different coaching philosophy. And sometimes the junior varsity, the middle school, and the varsity don't have the luxury of working together to truly create a farm system like it obviously is here at Welborn. These young guys play in the same kind of format, same plays, same sets as the varsity.
And that helps out because you just stay comfortable with it, because you know as a 7th grader, absent of a coaching change, that you will be running the exact same thing as a junior and as a senior, and it's really beneficial for the kids because if the terminology doesn't change, you understand your assignments, and then if you change position, you understand the philosophy of the assignment that you change the position to. So it really gives the coaches a lot to work with because you give a lot of players a lot of the same basic structure and a good foundation as you move towards the future. So whether it's one of these kind of veer offenses that Welborn runs or spread out offenses that Ohatchee runs, you stay in the same formation.
McQueen with the handoff. Looks like he gave it to number 35, that's Dalton Epps, who is a sophomore. He'll be a sophomore. 4th down and 8 now for the Panthers. And are they going to take the punt? Where are they going to go for? It looks like they are going to go for the punt. And as John mentioned earlier, in the punting situation here in the 4th quarter with no live kicking game, they're simply going to move the ball 30 yards and turn it over to the Weaver offense.
Yes, both teams in an effort to really save these guys and save some time as well. Just going with the simulated punt, simulated kicking game. And they kind of deviated from what most spring games are around all of high school football. You really want to save the kicking game for later on in the fall camp and whatnot, but here they decided to go live. Thankfully, no injuries on the kicking game, no injuries in the special teams. We did see a touchdown with the special teams, so it's beneficial for Welborn. But from here on out, all simulation.
Walker Bryant takes the snap. And off to Nick Crowder, and Crowder gets to the 40-yard line. That's, I think that's Crowder. So a 2-yard gain on the play to bring up 2nd down and 8 for Weaver.
I always think what's really interesting about these games whenever these JV guys come in is that these are the same players they'll play against when they're on the varsity level. So a lot of these guys that Welborn is seeing on the other side of the ball, it'll be the same guys, coming up in the next couple of years because they're all playing JV.
Crowder on the carry. And he'll get to the 47-yard line. 3rd down and about a yard to go for the Bearcats.
Bring up 3rd and 1 for the Bearcats.
Fourth quarter action, just under 9 minutes to go. Day number 2 of the Pigskin Roundup, Calhoun County Spring Jam. And off again to Crowder, and he picks up a 1st down, getting across midfield into near the 46-yard line of Welborn. They'll mark him at the 47. Either way, it's a 1st down.
And even with the JV in.
Still chewing that pin. He's been working on that pin since the beginning of the game. I'm surprised there's anything left of it.
He is the consummate professional. He wants everything done the right way, the right time, every single time. And it's the reason why Jeff Smith's programs have been so good over the last few years.
Bryant rolling to the near side. Pass complete to Dalton Hamby.
Good opening for tackle there by Quindarius Moore. The junior defensive back came from his corner spot. One of the toughest things to do in football is to make that open field tackle. And this forces a 2nd and long for the Weaver Bearcats. Good look at there by Quindarius Moore. You'll take another good look from our end zone camera. Tries to get the ball to the outside and just breaks that block. Moore gets out of the reach of Austin Tucker and able to make the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Yard loss on the play this time. Bryant's going to keep it for himself. He'll make it to the 45-yard line. 3-yard gain on the play to bring up 3rd down and 8 for the Bearcats.
That's number
Third down from the 45-yard line. Right at 7 minutes left in the game. And we're going to have a timeout called. This is going to be called by Welborn. We'll take the timeout as well. Be back in just a moment as we continue with the Calhoun County Spring Jam live on TV 24.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Tim Hodges, Don Hudson, J.D. Hess, and Rudy Abbott, asks that you take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Something this beautiful, you think it must be expensive. But sometimes things aren't what you think they are. In fact, you might be surprised at how reasonable our prices are. We know that value is really important to people in this area, so we work hard to provide personal, caring service that is affordable. K.L. Brown Memory Chapel, where our prices are as attractive as our facility.
Third down and 8 for the Weaver Bearcats. Fourth quarter. JV players in all around, and Walker Bryant at quarterback with the toss this time. Back to Maurice Goodman. Goodman is going to have a little running room around the left side. He'll get into the 42-yard line. Not enough for a first down, but it'll be fourth and about 4 or 5 to go.
It's a nice play there by Weaver. It's going to bring up a fourth down, but it's a manageable fourth down. And you don't want to get all of it, try to go, with the entire 10 yards, entire 11 yards for that first down. Got a nice chunk of it and set yourself up with a manageable 4th and 5 here for Weaver, and they will not punt it. They will take their shot.
Going for it on 4th and 5 for the Bearcats. Walker Bryant at quarterback. Handoff this time goes to Crowder. Crowder picks up the first down, running right along the left side hash marks, and he gets to the 32-yard line.
That's Nick Crowder with a run for the Bearcats. Number 35, Epps on the tackle for the Panthers. That run good for a Weaver first down.
First down for the Bearcats at the 32-yard line. Number 6, Bryant at quarterback. This time a toss. Looks like Crowder again. He'll gain a couple of yards into the 34-yard line. That's actually a loss back to the 34-yard line. A loss of a couple of yards there.
Brings up, just like the last series, last set of possessions, a negative play on first down, see if they can create some positivity on 2nd and 3rd down and get themselves in a better field position. But if you're Weaver, you have to like this drive that they're putting together. It's a long drive so far. It is chewing up a lot of clock, but if you're a Weaver, right now you just want to put together a nice drive and get that ball into the end zone.
Bryant attempts a short pass to the left side. Craig Copeland was the intended receiver. It was a little bit high, but right through his hands.
Welborn players wanted to see if, just test it just a little bit, see if that was a lateral play. Not caught a lateral. Nice call there by the officials, but Craig Copeland wants that thing back.
They'll bring up 3rd and 12 for the Bearcats.
Good-looking guys on the JV team here for the Weaver Bearcats. Definitely some talent and some potential in Walker Bryant and Nick Crowder so far. A lot of nerves out there probably for these young guys on the JV right now, playing in this atmosphere on this field. Another incomplete pass. It was low. The intended receiver was Dion Monroe from his tight end position.
Looks like we have another 4th down, and they converted the last one. See if they convert this one.
4th and about 2.5 for the Bearcats. Down to less than 5 minutes.
It's a big play here. As you see, Coach Daryl Hamby, and there he is, just teaching, and that's exactly what these things are about. You know, it's not necessarily at this stage. It's not about the wins and the losses. It's just about teaching and getting it right.
Bryant rolling to the left side, looking to pass. It is incomplete. We have a flag on the play. It was almost intercepted as well. We'll see what the flag is.
Looks like this might be a little bit of pass interference, maybe defensive holding. We'll find out what it is for sure.
They're going to wave it off.
Nice tip play. Looks like what they were going to call was pass interference if the receiver could catch the ball, but I guess they ruled it incatchable. Because of the tip, it's probably the tip that caused it.
It was tipped.
Correct. Ruled it was incatchable. So without the tip, that would have been a pass interference. And a good call, a good job by the referees getting together, getting the call right. But as you saw there with Coach Daryl Hamby, these are good teaching moments for these coaches and these players here. As
Weaver's going to call another timeout as they turn the ball over on downs. On that last play, Pat Harris was the Wellborn defender, diving, got his fingertips on the ball and almost got that interception. Just less than 5 minutes to go. So look at some of the fans in the stadium. Both bands here with us today. As we mentioned, both cheerleading squads are here. So these spring games taken just as seriously as the regular games in the regular season of the fall, as the fans and the teams, everybody comes out and enjoys these games.
Yeah, and it's really a good precursor to Friday nights for everybody. You know, and for the band, you're able to get all your band together at the same time before you go to a lot of these band camps coming up in the summer. But you know, between now and then, there's a break time, and so this is a good opportunity to get everybody together on the same page, learn a lot of the sheet music that you're going to be using in the fall, and really create some lasting memories here in the final days of the 2013-14 school year.
Hand off for Wellborn. Pat Harris on the carry, freshman running back. He'll get down to the 44-yard line.
Same kind of play they've been running basically all game long with Kevin Mixon and DJ Roden. Except this time, it's with the JV squad and brings up second and short.
That quick reverse going to Javion Thomas, another freshman. He'll pick up the first down at midfield.
Varsity squad ran that play a couple times with Jordan Montgomery coming on the inside. This time it's Javion Thomas, a freshman running back for the Wellborn Panthers. And there's a good look at Coach Daryl Hamby entering his 5th season there with the red and black. Does a fantastic job with both the football and basketball teams. There's a lot of proud athletic tradition there at Weaver. Over, I think it was like 8 or 9 wrestling state championships there as well. There's a very, very tough young group. They have a long road ahead as they head into the summer months and as they head into fall camp, and especially in that tough Class 3A Region 6. But they have some time to get there, and Coach Daryl Hamby will use this game really as a springboard to a lot of their summer workouts, summer conditioning, and show them, hey guys, we're not where we want to be, we're not where we are capable of being. And he'll use this as some motivation as they get ready for this upcoming season.
The call was offsides against the Bearcats. Moved the ball to the 45-yard line. 1st and 5 now. McQueen with the handoff. Number 35, Dalton Epps on the carry there.
We saw Dalton Epps making a special teams play a little bit earlier. Found himself in the Jumbotron, and he smiled. We knew that he would come back a little bit later in the game. But we said it earlier, this is a good time for players to get evaluated. It's a good time for players to really show on tape to coaches what they can do and prove that they can play on Friday nights under the big lights. And so, valuable experience for everybody, for coaches, for officials, for bands, for first team, for third team, for freshmen, for seniors, for 8th graders, everybody.
2nd and 4. Again, a handoff. This will pick up a first down inside the 40-yard line. Number 26, Pat Harris on the carry.
Number 26, Pat Harris to the carry for Welburn.
Put that at the 40-yard line. First down for Welburn.
As we saw a lot of the, varsity guys go both ways. A lot of the junior high guys go both ways as well.
We have a new quarterback going to come in and take a few snaps here in the last couple of minutes. Number 16, Walker Hayes, comes out on the field as Austin McQueen hits the sidelines. Hayes gives it to the first guy through. He'll get into the 35-yard line. Dalton Epps again on the carry. 5-yard gain, 2nd down and 5 to go for Weaver. About 2 minutes left in the game. And again, being a spring game, we see the score 39-6. And the score is irrelevant at this point because we brought the JV guys in for the 4th quarter.
So really, this is a 6-0 Weaver win if you take a look at it.
Exactly. If you look at it from just a quarter of just JV guys. Hayes with the toss back to Pat Harris. No gain on the play. 3rd down and 5 from the 35-yard line. You know, we've had a lot of good shots of the coaches. We've seen the coaches out here all day. One of the good things about Pigskin Roundup in the fall is you get to visit with the coaches on the air. They come into the studio, they talk to John, and it's a really different side of these coaches from just seeing them walking around on the sidelines. When they come into the studio and talk to John and talk about their philosophies, talk about their teams, talk about their players, and it's a really good experience watching the program to see that other side of the coaches.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where this is a very unique part of the Pigskin Roundup. One of the only shows that brings the coaches actually in the studio. It's a different thing to hear them over the phone, but when they're actually in the studio, came back from a game, sometimes they've won that game, most times they've won, sometimes they've even lost that game, and they're really able to kind of put it together and really break down what you get, and you actually get a really unique view of the game. So if you're a big football fan, one of the first 2 segments of Pigskin Roundup is a lot of times the best part, whether it's a team you know or a team you don't know, a coach that you know or may not know, or a coach that you may be familiar with. It's one of those chances for those guys to really get in with John and give the fans a lot of perspective of where they see the game and where they see their teams.
We're taking the timeout on the field. Charge to Welburn. We'll take it as well and be back in just a moment.
Stephen Jeedy for Alabama Senate District 12. Who is Stephen Jeedy? Stephen is just like you, just like the person next to you at church. Stephen Jeedy is just a family man trying to make a difference. Stephen believes that our government is out of control, with spending and policies like Common Core, too out of touch with the citizens it's supposed to serve. Stephen believes in conservative principles, ideas like limited government and low taxes. Stephen will protect life and your Second Amendment rights. If you're like Stephen Jeedy, he would be honored to have your vote.
About this time last year, our air conditioner just flat died.
It was completely worn out.
So we called Kelly with Cleghorn HVAC. He showed us our options and we chose all new high-efficiency Ruud heating and cooling systems.
Now they're comfortable and saving money.
And we're sure glad we called.
Call us today and get up to a $1,200 rebate and a 10-year worry-free warranty with a new Ruud system for your home. We're Cleghorn HVAC Services, an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer.
And we're back at JSU Stadium at Jacksonville State University for the Pigskin Roundup Calhoun County Spring Jam. The final few seconds of the 4th quarter of the Welburn and Weaver game. Remember, coming up, we have Saxe and Alexandria immediately following this game. Quandarius Moore on the carry for Welburn, and he takes it into the end zone as they run about 6 seconds off the clock on that play.
It's a good job there, and it's a good play call by head coach Jeff Smith, and is nothing that we haven't seen the entire game. Is really just that inside handoff, and they ran it to perfection, and Moore takes it in for the touchdown, essentially tying the game up from the JV level, 45-6 overall. But if you look at just the way it has been in the fourth quarter, 1 touchdown for Weaver, 1 touchdown for Welborn, and looks like Welborn will go for 2.
Quarterback will be Austin McQueen. And the 2-point conversion will not be good. Number 35, Dalton Epps on the carry. No kicking game here in the fourth quarter, so we put the ball, I think, on the 20-yard line. Big game coming up next, Gerhard, with Sachs and Alexandria. As we see the Valley Cubs already getting ready to come out on the field. They're crowding in the corner of the end zone over there, ready to, they're excited to get out here already, it looks like.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and they're excited about this football team. And I'll tell you what, if you have seen Alexandria play over the last, I would say 20, 30 some odd years, going back to the fantastic Larry Ginn era, you'll be interested to see what the Valley Cubs come out with this year. I've only been able to see it just for a couple of short minutes in an inter-squad scrimmage at practice, but it looks pretty promising. So if you've watched Alexandria, especially the football on the offensive side, you will definitely want to see how the Cubs look this spring.
Weaver on offense. A quick talk from Bryant. Looks like Maurice Goodman. He had nowhere to go. And the time is going to tick off the clock. And that will wrap up the first game of tonight between the Welborn Panthers and the Weaver Bearcats. Officially the score 45-6 with Welborn taking the win, but it is a spring game, so the score not quite as important as the practice and the looks that these kids got out there, got to get out on the field in front of their coaches, make an impression on the coaches, learn a little bit more about their positions and about the what it's like to be on the field with a real opponent on the other side of the line, as opposed to one of your teammates during a scrimmage where you're trying not to hurt somebody.
Exactly, and these two teams are going to see each other a little bit later in the year. We talked about it earlier in Class 3A Region 6, so they will meet when it matters, especially when it matters as far as for a playoff spot goes. So we will see how these teams adjust from this point as they head into the fall.
And as we do for every game during the Spring Jam, we choose a player of the game. And for this game, our player of the game is that guy right there, the senior quarterback and defensive back for the Welborn Panthers. It's number 12, Landon McChristy, the ERA King Real Estate player of the game. And we'll go down to John in just a moment. He'll be talking to the coach and to the player of the game. And a lot of excitement. You can hear in the ambient atmosphere here. It's a spring game, but there's still a lot of excitement going on. So let's go on down to the field. John has Coach Jeff Smith and our player of the game, Landon McChristy.
Okay, not a whole lot of surprises. You know, you didn't lose a whole lot of guys off last year's team, and you had an experienced team coming back, and that experience certainly showed today a very impressive performance, to say the least.
Well, I tell you what I'm most proud of. You know, there's spring, we've been fighting to get our identity back. And from yesterday to today, we got back like ourselves. And we played Welborn football, and the kids played like we knew they could play like. And I'm more proud about that than the score and the win and everything. They came together and finished spring unified. And I think that's the most important thing.
Your defense was very impressive, obviously. Throwing a shutout through the varsity part of it against a pretty talented Weaver team here. The defense it looks like just a different team from last year. Really good tackling, and I was really impressed by the defense. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? Like we got a middle linebacker out there that sets it all up for us. And but our Welburn's defense, that's us. Coach Mouse used to say, when you're at Welburn, you wear black and you play defense, and that we try to pride ourselves on that, and we really worked hard on that in the spring. And then Landon is like a whole succession of linebackers that we've had out there, and he's really doing a good job for us right there, and along with his teammates too. I mean, our defense, I thought they really played good together as a unit today, and I was proud of them.
Coaches have different philosophies on spring games. You have used, over the last 3 or 4 years, the spring game that seems to be a real springboard into the summer, into the season.
Oh, look, some people say that, well, spring's not that important. I think anytime that you're given time to work with your players and a chance to get out there and get them better, I think it's very important, and we're going to take it very seriously. We took this game very seriously. We prepared like we would any Friday night going into it right here, and, we told the kids we expect to win it.
Coach, congratulations. Good showing tonight. Let's talk to our ERA King Real Estate Player of the Game. Coach already mentioned it, Landon McChristy, two-time Pigskin Roundup All-Star team member. And from this showing tonight, it looks like you're making a strong case to be on this team for year 3. Really good performance on both sides of the ball tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I couldn't have done it without my defensive line, my defensive backs, offensive line, and the rest of the backfield back there. It's a team sport, and it's not just me.
You started off playing linebacker, starting linebacker last year, and moved to quarterback. So I guess the question is, what do you like better, quarterback or middle linebacker?
Middle linebacker, definitely. It's all about hitting.
What about the hit on the kickoff? Everybody was oohing and eyeing, looking up at the big screen there. Tell us about that hit on the kickoff.
Well, if it wasn't for Epps setting it up, it wouldn't even happen. So I give all the credit to Epps over Dalton Epps. Dalton Epps, let me tell you, that Dalton Epps has been through all kind of crap, and that boy's going to be a player for us one day. He's going to back me up when I leave.
Congratulations on a good showing and being our player of the game. We'll see you come August.
Thank you, John.
All right, Landon McChristy, the ERA King Real Estate Player of the Game. Coming up in just a couple of moments, we'll talk with Weaver head coach Darrell Hamby.
And looking at some just a few final stats for Landon McChristy there. 6 carries for 110 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns, 2 of 6 in passing with 1 touchdown. And there you see the player of the game. And Gerhard, that's going to wrap things up as we get ready for game number 2 of the night between Saxe and Alexandria. And we'll turn things over to Mickey Shadrix and the radio voice of the Valley Cubs, Robert Smith, will be in the booth tonight with Mickey. And we'll do that in just a moment. Let's go back down to the field with John Holder.
All right, we're with Weaver head coach Darrell Hamby. Coach, you had a team that lost a lot of talented players last year, but we saw some good talent tonight. I think it begins with Paul Hubbard, a tailback last year, moved him to quarterback, and he showed some really good things for you tonight.
We did some good things, and then we did some bad things. We can't, go backwards, and it probably hurt us a little bit, but, Welburn's a very good team, and we've got a lot of, probably, I think, 8 guys that we lost last year on offense, and we've got some inexperienced guys. That can't be excusable. We've got to come out here and execute better than that. And I thought we did a better job the third quarter, but I thought we laid down a little bit in the first and second quarter.
Welburn had the experience advantage, as you mentioned, but there were some positives there from your football team. What do you like about this team going into 2014?
Well, I like their energy. I like the way they work. I like the way they're trying to always get better, ask questions. Now what we've got to do is take away from this. We've got to get in the weight room. Probably got to get a little bit tougher. I've got to do a better job of getting them tougher because I think really they beat us off the ball a lot.
As you go into summer and start spring practice, what are the big things that you probably saw that you need to work with on the field? You mentioned getting stronger in the weight room, but on the field, what are some things that you're going to take away from tonight to work on during the summer?
Well, I didn't think, like I said, I was really proud of the way we came out the third quarter. I thought we didn't lay down. That's what I was proud of. So we got some fight into us. We need to take that and take it into the weight room, and that's what we really have to work on this summer, just getting stronger.
August is not very far away. We'll look forward to seeing you football season.
All right, thank you.
Darrell Hamby, head coach of the Weaver Bearcats, coming up in just a few moments. We'll have a Pigskin Roundup preview, guys, of the season. Steve Smith of the Piedmont Bulldogs is standing by to talk with us about the 2014 season.
All right, John, looking forward to that. And again, Gerhard Mathangani and I are going to step aside and make room for Mickey Shadrix and Robert Smith for the next game. We'll be back with tomorrow's first game at 9:30 bright and early tomorrow morning. So we'll see you then. To be back in a moment.
Attention race fans, don't miss Talladega Short Track's Thunder Thursday, May 29th, featuring 120-mile-per-hour USCS Outlaw Sprint Cars presented by K&N Filters, plus NASCAR veteran Ken Schrader racing in the K&N Filters USCS Outlaw Modifieds, the Neesmith Late Models, and Stock Car Racing. Thunder Thursday with USCS Outlaw Sprint Cars, Outlaw Modifieds, Neesmith Late Models, Stock Car Racing, and Ken Schrader. Thursday, May 29th at Talladega Short Track on Speedway Boulevard. Estaboga, be there.
We're making a new Honda at Sunny King Honda more affordable than ever with low lease payments all month long. Lease a new 14 Accord LX for only $199 a month. Lease the all-new 14 Civic LX for only $159 a month. We have a great selection of certified used Hondas, all with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Sunny King Honda, exit 188 off Interstate 20 on Highway 78 East in Oxford, where customer satisfaction is king.
Looking for a place to have dinner with your family or that special someone? Why not try Affina's, a unique Tuscan grill specializing in Italian fare. From Italian meats sliced daily and baked to perfection to healthy choices for little ones. We look forward to seeing you soon for your next lunch or dinner, or contact us to help you plan your next party or event, because Affina's is all about casual yet sophisticated dining.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Tim Hodges, Don Hudson, J.D. Hess, and Rudy Abbott, asks that you take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
All right, we are between games here at the Calhoun County Pigskin Roundup Spring Jam. First game was Welborn and Weaver. Next game coming up in about 30 minutes or so. We're going to see the Alexandria Valley Cubs and the Sacs Wildcats big rival game. That game will kick off right about 8 o'clock. Mickey Shadricks and Robert Smith will bring you that game, and Gerhard Mathangani will be on the sidelines. In between, we're going to kind of preview the 2014 high school football season coming up, and we're going to be joined now by the head coach of the Piedmont Bulldogs, Coach Steve Smith. Of course, you were here watching games last night because two of the three teams are going to be in the same region with Pleasant Valley and Ohatchee, and then watching this last game because Weaver and Welborn also going to join you in 3A Region 6. So kind of your impressions of some of those teams that you've seen the last couple of nights.
Well, obviously today Welborn looked really impressive. They look mid-season form. Weaver, I know what kind of team they're going to have every year. Coach Hamby does a wonderful job down there also, and you know, I don't read a whole lot into the Jamboree tonight on their performance because I know he'll have those guys ready when the fall gets here. And, you know, I was really impressed with Ohatchee and Pleasant Valley last night. You know, Coach Martin coming in new at Ohatchee and putting a group together and having a productive spring. And I always think Coach Davis does as much with his guys as anybody around. And so I thought all four of those teams, you know, I think have a promising fall in front of them.
Reclassification always brings some changes. People moving up and down in class. Welborn, Ohatchee, Pleasant Valley moving up to 3A, so moving into your region. Just tell us about your thoughts on this kind of new 3A Region 6. Got some new teams in there, but you've also got some teams you're familiar with, like Glencoe, like Asheville in there. Westbrook, another new team coming in. Weaver, another old team, so to speak. But your thoughts on the region?
Well, you know, I think the holdovers there, you know, with us and Weaver and Glencoe and Asheville, you know, getting some new guys in the region with Welborn and Pleasant Valley and Ohatchee and Westbrook, and not really knowing a whole lot about any of those people, though, coming up from a lower classification last year, coming from 2A to 3A. Didn't get a chance to see them a whole lot, so I think that'll bring a lot of excitement. I think Glencoe's probably as loaded as they've been in a long time. I look for them to have a great season, and, you know, I know Asheville is moving and progressing along with Coach has been there for a couple years now and getting his system in place, and so, you know, I look for it to be a competitive region week in, week out.
Region will have some tough teams in it. Your non-region schedule, tough as always. Cherokee County in the opener. Got Aniana in there. Your non-region slate has always been tough, and it's tough again this time.
Yeah, we always open with Center. It's a big rivalry game for us, and so we had to keep that game one. We decided to keep Leeds week 5, and of course Leeds and Piedmont's been a good rivalry here over the last 6 or 7 years, and then Aniana week 10, and I had a guy in the stands ask me what I was thinking when we scheduled that game week 10, and you know, but to be honest with you, we really love to play those kind of games. I mean, those games are fun, and And you know, I know that there's a good chance in games like that you may take one on the chin, but you got to play those type of games if you want to see where your school's going to be. And you know, I know our team, our community, will be excited to play those games. And then starting off the season, the Champions Challenge, playing down in Montgomery, playing against Dadeville. You know, we know we'll have our hands full of that also.
That non-region slate, of course, folks have forgotten Leeds was the 3A runner-up and Aniana was the 4A state champion. So that really creates marquee matchups. I think the first time when I saw Piedmont and Aniana, I'm like, whoa. And, of course, we know Piedmont and Leeds have had some great games through the years. And, of course, Cherokee County there. And you mentioned Dadeville in the Champions Challenge. So certainly a lot of marquee matchups there for your football team.
Well, you know, I like to keep up with college football, and I'm one of those people that I wish the SEC schools would play all the big schools from the other conferences when they're not playing in their conference games. Of course, I'm a fan. I know they do it for reasons of trying to make sure they have a chance to play for a championship, but, you know, I know as a fan I enjoy watching those games, and I think as a high school football fan, people enjoy watching some of these matchups that we got this coming fall.
Let's get in and talk about your football team. Where your program is, and we talk about this a lot, you are in the situation where you lose some talented players every year, you lose some good leadership, but you're in the situation where you've always got some great players coming up, some experienced players coming up, and I think that's the case this year. You've lost some good players, but you've got some really nice players coming back also.
We do, and, you know, it's kind of like I tell all our kids every year, you know, you can't use graduation as an excuse. Everybody graduates players. You know, Sax is behind us here coming off a great season. They graduated some players, but I know the expectations there are going to be high, and just like at our place, you know, we graduated some really, really fine seniors. We lost 10 seniors this year, and a lot of them have been in the program, you know, for 4 years, and many of them started for 3 years, and they'll be difficult to replace. But, you know, the good thing about it is we've had a good group of hard-working younger kids throughout the junior high, and then as they played B team, and those guys have just been biding their time, waiting their turn, and I know that they're going to step up and do a good job for us in the fall.
Well, what's the key to the consistency? Because I think across the state, when people think about Piedmont football, consistently you're one of the top 4 or 5 programs in the state every year in Class 3A, and you've been doing that for a lot of years. What's the key, you think, to that consistency to every year kind of, I don't want to use the word reloaded, but for lack of a better term, to be able to bring back that consistency?
Well, you know, tradition has a lot to do with things, and when we came to Piedmont 8 years ago, there had been a tradition at Piedmont in the past, and I always said if a place has been good in the past, it can be good again. And I was fortunate as I got there to start getting a lot of the kids coming through the program that their dads played against me. You know, C.J. Savage right now is one of the kids that's one of the leaders of our team, and that's Charles Dudley's son that played back in the mid-'80s when Piedmont was really, really good, you know. And in the run there, Coach Hobbizel had just started what they had laid the foundation for there. And you know, but just using that as an example, and some of the other names, the Diamonds and the people like that you recognize those names, and those are people that their parents played when good teams were there in the school, and the community. Piedmont's a great community now for football. They love their football there, and they get behind you and they support you, and I think it does a lot for those kids when they see the packed house every Friday night, and the people following us when we go on the road, and it's got to a point now where nobody wants to be the group that lets it down. You know, everybody wants to keep it going and try to do it better than the year before. So, you know, that friendly competition from team to team, from year to year, and wanting to try to do something greater than the team before. I mean, I think that's something that motivates those guys each year and makes it a lot of fun for us.
You know, as we start talking about your team this year, you know, what is the thing that you're looking for going into the summer? Because summer's a very important time, but football's kind of become a year-round deal. And what are some things you're looking for development-wise with your team over the summer as you get ready for practice in August?
Well, you know, our approach is a little bit different than a lot of people's with the spring. You know, this late spring, when you go in May like this, it's almost like starting summer workouts. I would much prefer if we had a window of opportunity there, you know, between the end of basketball and the first of the spring sports, kind of like it used to be, when you can have a true spring training and you're not worried about competing with other sports for kids. You know, that's something that we've kind of conceded to with having strong sports teams in all of our programs at Piedmont, you know, with the baseball team doing well, the track team doing well. You know, we had 4 days of spring practice this year. So the summer for us, a lot of times, is more like really starting the spring. It's just a late or early summer, early fall, whatever you want to call it. We try to use that as an opportunity to do a lot of teaching. We want to condition the kids. We want to lift them and do all the things that we need to be doing to maintain our strength and conditioning program. But, you know, we really, really don't place a whole lot of emphasis on things in the month of June when we're working out as far as football goes. We pick up the tempo a little bit in July, do a couple of days of 7-on-7 in July, but we really, really try to take time off the front end as to be able to peak later on in the season. And like I said, it's a difficult process. I'm doing this for 20 years now. I've tried it all kind of ways. I've tried going early in the summer, trying going early spring, late spring. And, I don't know that there's any one recipe that necessarily works for every school and every program, but, hopefully we can use our summertime early in the summer to be moving a little bit more toward what we want to do and finding the guys that might be able to contribute that we didn't think of, coming out of last year and then being able to put the combinations together to put a good team on the field come August.
Every coach, if you ask 10 coaches, you probably get 10 different opinions about spring. A lot of people are saying, well, who's Piedmont playing in their spring game? You and I talked a couple of weeks ago, and because some of the things you just mentioned with the success of other sports, you're not playing a spring game.
And like I said, I know each of these coaches here tonight, they're holding their breath every time somebody takes a lick because, in May, I know you can't play the game scared, but in May, you obviously have a bad injury at a game tonight, and then those guys probably don't make it back for the fall. And I don't know how it is at every other school, but I know how it is at our place with all the things going on in May and the field trips and the early semester exams and the AP exams. It seems like there's something on the calendar every day in the month of May, and it just makes it very difficult to get any type of continuity, any type of flow of getting your kids out there and in some type of rhythm, and I just, me personally, I don't put a whole lot of stock in that. We don't never even go full pads during our spring. If we go in May, we went 4 days this year, and I don't think I know we didn't go full pads on any of those days. We just tried to use it as a teaching time and getting some of the young guys in there and teaching them some things about some calls and schemes and things that we hope to get something out of that for the spring heading into the summer.
We got to get you up the highway, up Highway 21, because you've got an event going on tonight called Night of Champions. Tell us what that's about.
Well, it's just something we just started doing when I first got to Piedmont, where the kids, they work so hard during the off season and they're lifting, and what we do, we actually move the weight room outside and in the stadium, and started out with just a few people coming. Now it's turning into a pretty big deal. We'll have 200 or 300 fans that come on our Night of Champions and watch the guys max out. They max out on a couple of lifts, the bench press and power clean, and it's big for them. Most of the time those kids get all juiced up when they get out there to lift in front of the people, and they do a little bit more weight than they normally do when they max out. But we just try to do that to show off a little bit of their hard work and let their folks come see them lift and see what we do. The kids probably go home a lot of times and tell their folks how much weight they can lift, and they probably don't believe it. So it gives them an opportunity to get out there and show their parents and other people in the community how much they've improved. It's a lot of fun.
Coach, thank you for the time with us. We'll let you get up the highway. It won't be long till Crampton Bowl in Dadeville at the Champions Challenge. We'll see you then.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it, John.
Steve Smith is the head coach of the Piedmont Bulldogs, getting ready for probably another very successful 2014. When we come back, we'll have more of the Pigskin Roundup preview as we count down to kickoff of Alexandria and Sachs here at the Spring Jam at JSU.
Ever have to unfriend someone on Facebook? No hard feelings or anything, but it was just time to move on. I want to help you unfriend your old car today and give you something to tweet about. Hey, this is Randy Visser from Talladega Ford with the deal everyone will like. Unfriend your old car today by trading it into us, and we'll give you $5,000 over Kelley Blue Book value for it. Now that's a deal worth sharing. Still making payments on a car you hate? Trade it in even if you owe way too much on it and get in a nicer, newer car with little or even zero money down. Come see us and start taking your selfies in a nicer, newer car today.
This is a nice place. How much do you think this is going to cost us?
I have no idea. Surely they'll show us some options.
I wonder if we should have asked.
At K.L. Brown Memory Chapel, we believe creating a service to match your budget is the best service we can offer.
I thought for sure it was going to cost more.
I'm so glad we can afford what we want.
About this time last year, our air conditioner just flat died.
It was completely worn out.
So we called Kelly with Cleghorn HVAC. He showed us our options, and we chose all new high-efficiency Ruud heating and cooling systems.
Now they're comfortable and saving money.
And we're sure glad we called.
Call us today and get up to a $1,200 rebate and a 10-year worry-free warranty with a new Ruud system for your home. We're Cleghorn HVAC Services, an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer.
Excitement is in the air for Peggy Miller Locker, and it's all because she's running for Circuit Court Judge in Calhoun and Cleveland counties. Peggy has always made public service a priority, so why not give her your vote on June the 3rd to meet the needs of families and children?
Hi, I'm Peggy Miller Locker. I ask for your vote on June the 3rd. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of children and families in Calhoun and Cleveland counties.
Paid for by the committee to elect Peggy Miller Locker.
We are back at Burgess Snow Field, JSU Stadium on the campus of Jacksonville State University. Night number 2, game number 2 of the Calhoun County Pigskin Roundup Spring Jam. Earlier, we had a very impressive performance, 45-6, Walter Wellborn beating the Weaver Bearcats. And we are counting down now to the game between Alexandria and Sachs. That'll be a great matchup. John Holder, Gerhard Mathangani here with us as we kind of preview the 2014 season, which will be here before you know it. Want to remind folks that coming up in August, we will have our Pigskin Roundup, the magazine. We've got the photo shoot for that coming up next week. We'll keep that a surprise as to what we're going to have on the cover, but we think we've got a unique cover story for you this year. But Gerhard, this is getting kind of whetting our appetites. Yeah. The season actually is going to start a week earlier this year, and I guess that's where we need to begin, because one of the changes in the offseason from the Alabama High School Athletic Association is the fact that we're now going to have 11 weeks in the regular season, so you'll have 11 weeks to play 10 games, which means that first week, August 21st and 22nd, which was normally all for jamborees, now the schools really have a choice. They can play either jamboree games, they can play a whole game against an opponent that doesn't count, or they can play a regular season game.
Absolutely, and it creates a lot of different strategies for the way coaches want to handle that team, or the way coaches want to handle that part of the season based on the team that they bring back. If you have young guys, if you have some guys that you want some experience, you want to schedule a jamboree and maybe play to week 10. If you want to keep that week open, if you think you're going to make the playoffs, well, then you can schedule maybe a jamboree game earlier on in the season, maybe week 5, week 6, week 7, and not have to play a hard game there towards the end.
You know, there's some big matchups in that opening week. Now, most of the teams, I'll be honest with you, I've studied all the schedules of all the teams in about an 8-county area here in East Alabama. Most of the teams still playing jamborees. For instance, on Thursday night, August 21st, there's going to be a big one at Spring Garden, the annual Cherokee County Jamboree with Spring Garden, Cedar Bluff, Gainesville, Sandrock. Also, Sachs will be there. Weaver's going there. White Plains will be there. So that'll be a big jamboree. But there are also some games that count, regular season games, and some big ones. Most notably, Oxford taking on Southside. That'll be at Barney Hood Stadium at Southside. Also, you got a game between Alexandria, who we'll see tonight, playing their arch rival Jacksonville. They're not in the same region anymore, so that's a non-region game that'll be at Golden Eagle Stadium. And then down at Munford and Central Clay County, who had two of the better teams in Class 4A last season. Of course, Central Clay moving to 5A this time, but there's some big matchups. Not a lot of them, but the ones that are going to take place that first week are big ones.
It reminds you a lot of what college football is doing and what Alabama does. They schedule that hard game at the beginning, one that'll count towards the schedule, whether it's West Virginia or Clemson or whoever it is in the big game. It kind of reminds you of those matchups when you take a look at a team like Southside, who went to the semifinals of the playoffs, a team like Alexandria going against a tough matchup against a team that they normally always play in Class 4A. Now Alexandria's bumped up to 5A, but it's a good 4A test. It's also a good game for Jacksonville. So you're seeing a lot of that strategy being employed with these teams that want to go and use that first week to really schedule themselves a hard, tough game that they know will build them up towards the region part of the schedule.
You know, that opening game, I think that's probably the marquee game the opening week. We mentioned that Oxford-Southside game because Southside coming off without question their best season ever in school history. Oxford, they've got a great quarterback and wide receiver tandem because they've got Ty Weber and Tredarian Gamble. We'll see those two guys here tomorrow at Jack State. But then you got Southside with the #1 offensive lineman in the state of Alabama and Tyler Carr, one of the top ones in the nation. So that's going to be an exciting night. You know, there'll be a huge crowd, standing room only, over at Southside for that one.
And Coach Ron Doherty was our Pigskin Roundup All-Star Team Coach of the Year, also the 5A State Coach of the Year for the entire state of Alabama. Of course, Ryan Herring for Oxford also did a fantastic job in his first season with the Yellow Jackets. And so we'll see what that does in the season, because that is a tremendous game as now Oxford plays big 6A football.
Yeah, and you know, Oxford staying in 6A, but 6A is totally different now. We mentioned Southside moving up to 6A. I talked with Coach Doherty, and he said, hey, Oxford 6A, so we thought, hey, we may as well just start off and play somebody really good like Oxford right off the bat and see where we stand. You know, we have a 7 classification now. It's kind of weird to say. It's going to take some getting used to for us to say 7A, but we now have a 7A classification. Top 32 teams size-wise in the state now are in their own separate classification. Only one team in our area in that, and that's Gadsden City, but Gadsden City, I guess the good news is if you're the Titans, they are in a smaller pool of teams with 32, but those 32 teams are going to be the 32 largest teams in the state.
Right, and they've done so well in Class 6A, and now they're going to test their mettle against the biggest of the biggest. Not necessarily the best of the best, but they're the biggest of the biggest schools, so it's schools that are their size, and they're one of the smaller of the biggest schools, so to speak, and they have to travel a long way away. A lot of their region games are going to be in Huntsville, and so they'll play a lot of the Bob Joneses and those teams like that, so we'll see how they match up against the best of the best and the biggest of the biggest, because Hoover and teams like that will be in there as well.
We'll come back in just a moment and take a break, and we'll talk about more of this 2014 season, which is coming up. We'll give you some key matchups, some players to watch, some teams to watch as we count down to kickoff of Alexandria and Sacs here at the Calhoun County Pigskin Roundup Spring Jam here on TV 24. Back in just a moment.
Hi, this is Vernon Thomas, General Manager, Sonny King Toyota in Scion. If you're looking for a used car, we got Chevrolet, used Toyota. She's looking at a used Nissan, Ford, Chrysler. We got whatever you want. And how about this? We got the financing. Bankruptcy, it don't matter. Got a little money down or no money down. Give us an opportunity, our secondary finance can get it done. Come see these and all the great deals, all these Sonny King Toyota in Scion on a new motor mile in Oxford, Alabama, where the customer is king.
At RMC, we love serving people in the small towns of Northeast Alabama. The lifestyle, the food, the people. But make no mistake, there's nothing small about the care we provide. In fact, we're a member of the UAB Cancer Network and have the Blue Distinction Award for cardiac care and are rated in the top 5% in the country by the Commission on Cancer.
It's not about the size of the town.
It's not about the size of the town.
It's not about the size of the town.
It's about the strength of our regional health system.
Power comes from people. People who provide more than just electricity. People who are committed to strengthening our communities. People who help foster economic growth to create jobs. People who are devoted to making a difference in our state and in the lives of those who live here. Alabama Power. Power to Alabama.
When it comes to the financing of your home, experience counts. At Jackson Mortgage Company, put that experience to work for you. There's a reason homeowners across East Alabama have chosen Jackson Mortgage Company since 1994. Jackson Mortgage Company is a full-service mortgage company offering VA, FHA, and conventional financing with competitive rates. Let Jackson Mortgage Company put their experience to work for you. And you remember, if you need a home loan, call my daddy.
Well, the sun is setting in Jacksonville, Alabama, and it feels like football weather here in the middle of May. This is the Calhoun County Pigskin Roundup Spring Jam 2014, just moments away from kickoff of Alexandria and Sacs. John Holder, Gerhard Mathangani here on the sidelines previewing the 2014 football season, but to preview the game that's coming up tonight, it ought to be a dandy between the Wildcats and Valley Cubs. We'll take you up to the booth to the guys that are going to bring you the game, Mickey Shadricks and Robert Smith. Guys.
All right, thanks a lot, John and Gerhard. Mickey Shadricks, Robert Smith, indeed, here in the booth getting set for the kickoff of the grand finale of the Calhoun County Pigskin Roundup Spring Jam, Alexandria and Sacs. And I can't think of a better partner to have in the booth with me for this game than the voice of the Valley Cubs on radio, Mr. Robert Smith, the longtime voice of Alexandria football. And Robert, I guess if this game had a theme to it, it would be simply this: Sacs coming off their best season in school history, undefeated regular season, losing in the semifinals to Madison Academy, close to a Super 6 appearance. Meanwhile, on the other side, Alexandria, who has 3 state championships, coming off their worst season in school history.
Yes, it's a kind of a, if we go back to last year, kind of a tale of 2 teams going in 2 different directions, Alexandria and Sacs. Sacs going 13-1. What a great season that they had a year ago. Alexandria seasoned last year, 3-7 last year. The Valley Cubs are worst season since 1981, and the Cubs are looking to rebound. May see a few new wrinkles in Alexandria this year. These are 2 teams, Mickey, that the tradition goes back a long, long way, especially old folks like me that remember the 1970s and the early 1980s. at one time, these two teams were probably their own biggest rivals. Now, the kids these days probably don't understand that, but when people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, they know that this was once a big rivalry and really still is. So, and Sacs beat Alexandria a year ago, the worst that Sacs had ever beaten Alexandria, 35-0 there at Jack Stewart Field, and so I know they enjoyed that, and Alexandria is going to look to be able to start their rebound from their worst season here tonight. Sacs lost a lot of players from their team last year, so it'll be very interesting. They have a great coaching staff, both teams do. It'll be very interesting to see what happens tonight.
Yeah, and this is still just a spring game, but I know we both talked to the coaches this week, and anytime you play a game and they're keeping score, the coaches are going to want to do well, but this is a full four-quarter game as well. We expect to see the starters go 3 full quarters, similar to what Welborn and Weaver did, and then we'll see some of the younger players. But both these coaches want to have some positive things come out of this night, don't they?
Absolutely they do. Of course, Alexandria, as we already said, this is a step toward trying to rebuild and get back to where people in the valley expect them to be. And for Sacs, they've been up on the mountain. They want to stay there. And then another angle that I'm sure we'll talk about during the night, as the night goes on, is Jonathan Miller, the head coach there at Sacs, graduated from Alexandria. That's another angle. And you get these things when you have teams playing each other. We call it playing your neighbors, playing here in teams from Calhoun County. And both Frank Tucker and Jonathan Miller from that Larry Ginn coaching tree, which has a pretty big mark here in Calhoun County.
Yeah, and as the years goes on, it continues just to expand those roots all across East Alabama. Well, that'll do it from the booth for now. We'll send it back down to John, Holder, and Gerhard, and Robert and I will be back with you shortly for the kickoff of Alexandria and Sacs.
Thank you, Mickey and Robert. Just about 7 minutes away from kickoff. The Alexandria Valley Cubs making their way onto the field, running through the sign. And, they moved up for the first time ever to Class 5A in this new 7-class system. One of the teams that probably is the favorite in that new 5A region that also moved up, the Lincoln Golden Bears, because they have two of the most talented players in this part of the state, maybe the most highly recruited player in the state, in this part of the state, besides maybe Tyler Carr, is going to be a big defensive lineman for the Lincoln Golden Bears.
Jontavius Johnson, remember that name because he is a fantastic defensive player for that football team. He plugs in the gaps, but then they also use him on offense as well. Short yardage situations, they hand him the football. He takes it in about 2-3 yards. He also took it to the outside, showing some refrigerator period there. Had about 4 or 5 touchdowns last year on offense. Some big plays on defense. They'll use him and Zay Caldwell as well. Zay Caldwell had a fantastic sophomore season. Now heads into his junior year with Brad Wallace in the second year as the head coach at his alma mater.
One of the more interesting teams I think we want to take a look at this year that stayed in 4A, that was in the region last year with both Alexandria and Lincoln, the Munford Lions. But they had 2 guys that were just phenomenal players, 2 of the best players in Munford history, Tavon Lawson, Monteo Garrett. Those guys are gone. I guess the question for Will Wagner, we'll see these guys tomorrow, is how do you replace those 2 guys?
2 All-Stars, 2 Pigskin Roundup All-Stars, 2 All-State athletes, 2 guys that really led the charge for that team that made it to the 4th round of playoffs. Lost to Aniana, had a shot there at going to the Super 6. Will Wagner has a large task trying to replace both of those guys, because not only were they leaders on the field, but they were leaders in the classroom as well. One was the SGA president in Lawson. One had great grades as a senior in high school. Both of them now going on to play college football. So we'll see what the Lions can do here.
One more player before we go to break that we need to talk about is a guy that maybe is the sleeper in this whole part of the state, and that's the running back for the Donahoe Falcons, Justin Foster.
Justin Foster is one of those players that's really bloomed late in the game here. Heads into his senior season, and now he's on the camp circuit, and he's getting a lot of buzz. He won the tight end MVP up in Tennessee. He'll take some recruiting trips this year. We'll see how he fares next year, but he is one guy to watch out for the Donahoe Falcons.
Well, I'm ready for football season. We hope you are as well. We've got another great game to whet your appetite coming up in just a couple of moments. Mickey Shadricks and Robert Smith coming up with kickoff of Alexandria and Sacs, big Calhoun County rival, next live on TV 24.
We're making a new Honda at Sunny King Honda more affordable than ever with low lease payments all month long. Lease the new 14 Accord LX for only $199 a month. Lease the all-new 14 Civic LX for only $159 a month. Lease the CR-V LX two-wheel drive for only $209 a month. We have a great selection of certified used Honda, all with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Sunny King Honda, exit 188 off Interstate 20, where customer satisfaction is king.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Tim Hodges, Don Hudson, J.D. Hess, and Rudy Abbott, asks that you take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At RMC, we know the birth of a baby can be a great moment in your life. With 2 hospitals in Northeast Alabama, RMC has great care right in your backyard. Our OB suites have the amenities that you deserve, and we have a level 2 special care nursery staffed 24/7. Our experienced OB physicians work hand in hand with our specially trained nurses. We have the only baby-friendly designated hospital in Alabama. It's not about the size of the nursery, it's about the quality of the care.
About this time last year, our air conditioner just flat died.
It was completely worn out.
So we called Kelly with Cleghorn HVAC. He showed us our options and we chose all new high-efficiency Ruud heating and cooling systems.
Now they're comfortable and saving money.
And we're sure glad we called.
Call us today and get up to a $1,200 rebate and a 10-year worry-free warranty with a new Ruud system for your home. We're Cleghorn HVAC Services, an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer.
Welcome back here to Burgess Snow Field at JSU Stadium as we are awaiting the opening kickoff between the Alexandria Valley Cubs and the Sacs Wildcats in the nightcap of tonight's Spring Jamboree game. Earlier in the evening, we had Weaver and Welborn, and this will be will cap off this evening. This is a showcase here for Calhoun County schools, and the Valley Cubs of Alexandria and the Sacs Wildcats are 2 teams that have played each other a lot over the years. They have met 35 times, Mickey, over the years. Alexandria's won 25 of them, but Sacs has won the last 3.
Yeah, Alexandria, Robert, with the much, I guess, deeper tradition, and Sacs with the most recent success, and that's kind of what we talked about in the open. The Wildcats coming off the best season in school history, Alexandria their worst season in school history, and this will be interesting to see. It always is to get your first look at a team in spring, even though they've had so few practices. You mentioned